We want change. We want change. We want change. We want change. We want a change.
Galentolu pule mulila pone. Ona kwa mulilia pone. Bakulu wa bakulu. Every youth.
The sound magician. Wi-Fi on the beat, boy.
Twakupele voting atawa bomba Twakupele voting atawa bomba Tawali mone voting atawa bomba Tawali mone voting atawa bomba Bantuno mwaka Kuya bebele Twanakane mwe Mwachila mobufi Kuya bebele Twawanele numa Kuya bebele Mwachila mobufi Mwalitula ile ona lebwati mukesa tupangira kwemisebo Wali mipele neboti ati mukesa tupangira kwemisebo Nimwewo mwatile mukesa tupulila nechipatala ifwe Nimwewo mwatile mukesa tupulila na masukulu kuno Ukutula potwa misalila ifwe Walitula baona lebo Imisebo ala ya jonaika Ichipatala takwaba kuno Abana besu basambilila mufi mutifya mango Bana mayo mapapila mungande Sipatala takwaba kuno Imisepila chose mbalo fwa Bapepa pye bange Fama lelilo mufunda tawafika Nembuto tashafika Ukutula potwa misalila ifwe Mwalitula baona lebo Nomba lelo mabwela imwe Mulefwa ya tumivotere Tatwakupele voting atawa bomba Tatwakupele voting atawa bomba Tawali mone voting atawa bomba Tawali mone voting atawa bomba Bantuno mwaka Kuya bebele Twanakane mwe Mwachila mobufi Kuya bebele Takwamulele numa Kuya bebele Mwachila mobufi Kuno mwaka tulefa yaba kutubombera Nota bakwisa kuno mukuzembereka Mukutwibira mano nga twabavotera abaya Nangu mwatupele ndalama tulepo katatwa mivotere Nidonti kubeba Wapoka waya Nidonti kubeba Wapoka waya Ababina chimu na mwekole Uko bafuma balinaba Bayi kutapiza Bala moko bafuma Bayi kutapai Bala bati bakabwela Baja chikini nena mabanu inapana kaso Wala onalebo mulabeja Ukutula potwa misalila ifwe Walitula baonalebo Nomba lelo mabwela imwe Mulefwa ya tumivotere Twakupele voting atawa bomba Twakupele voting atawa bomba Tawali mone voting atawa bomba Tawali mone voting atawa bomba Bantuno mwaka Kuya bebele Twanakane mwe Mwachila mobufi Kuya bebele Takwamulele numa Kuya bebele Mwachila mobufi Bantuno mwaka Kuya bebele Twanakane mwe Mwachila mobufi Kuya bebele Takwamulele numa Kuya bebele Mwachila mobufi Bantuno mwaka Twanakane mwe
The sound magician.
Good day, Sunday, the 15th of March 2026. We are racing towards general elections share this broadcast. Today we are hosting People's Forum. It's your forum. So you begin to call very early, ask questions, make your contributions. Usually when we have a guest, there's very little time for your participation. So I usually set aside time for you to call in and share your views. This program is popular because you can express your view unhindered, without interference, other than the decorum and modicum of rules of this forum. You can express yourself freely. We recognize that it's very difficult to do so in Zambia in light of the cyber laws, in light of the enforcement, especially by the cyber crimes unit at service headquarters that is hunting down for people for their comments and others. For our dear viewers who are civil servants, who are holding sensitive positions and you'd like to watch this program, do not watch it on your famous page. Use other platforms. Sometimes use your child's page, use other pages than your page just to protect yourself, because this program has become so important that the system also watches it to see who's contributing, who's watching. As a civil servant, sometimes when protecting yourself, just go on YouTube and watch it on your TV screen. No one will trace the YouTube link. So there's always a YouTube. You just go to Emmanuel Mwamba's Facebook on YouTube. That one can be traced. If you are, for others that like to listen on radio, tune into Spotify. We are on Spotify. We are on TikTok. We are on Twitch. We are on Amazon Live. We are on a lot of platforms. So for those guys that might hold sensitive position, watch us from YouTube. It doesn't trace. When you're watching on Facebook, it will show Emmanuel Mwamba's joined the broadcast. So those are some of the tips, because we want you to get this information live. Our platform, why you need to watch it, is it's been voted as #1 podcast in our country in relation to politics. There are over 160 podcasts that our people are running, but on politics and news analysis, our podcast is ranking #1, and these are not my views. These are views of credible institutions that monitor the landscape, especially the online media, for their advertisers, for their marketers, and for others that want this information. So we've been rated #1 podcast. We are top 5 in the region for credible sources of news. Top 5, EMV is listed together with ZNBC, Zanis, Mwebantu, and EMV is among the top 5 sources of credible news. But you make it credible because it's a guest we host. It's your phone calls. It's not Emmanuel Mwamba's opinion. When Emmanuel Mwamba is seated here, he's seated, of course, as an analyst, as a journalist, as an administrator. I'm not sitting here in my capacity as chairperson for information and publicity for the Patriotic Front. In fact, every time I want to say something about the PF, I do a disclaimer and say, can I speak now in my capacity as that? But many people recognize that when I sit here, I sit as a professional. In fact, I've hosted very few people from the Patriotic Front. When was given in the last year? When was Raphael Nakachinda or any of the people or Celestine Mkandila here? Mostly is dominated by civil society and other opposition leaders. My personal page is one of the most visited pages in the country. The newspaper, by the way, EMV, we need to find a mechanism of distributing it widely, because a lot of people are looking at the content behind the front page, and it's been cited as one of the best designed newspapers in Zambia. So thank you very much for that recognition. Today we are discussing the state of the nation. Our people may not know that the election is far closer than they think. The calendar has been issued by the Electoral Commission of Zambia on 15th April, 1 month from now, 15th April, 1 month from now. Just let me check in case there's something. Is volume okay? Is picture okay? Sometimes when people are calling, it's because none of that is correct. Let me just check on the, is the volume okay? Oh yeah, I think it's okay because people are listening. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we are okay. I just saw a phone call. I thought maybe I'm not live or I'm not, my volume is not okay. So thank you for those. Congratulations on EMV. Another thing that occurred yesterday, I reported an attack on the Dubai Financial Center. I had exclusive, I was very sure the pictures were exclusive and the video were very exclusive. No one had them because it was reported in real time. Someone was there, got a video and shared it with me. And the pictures shared with me for the damage that was done by an Iranian drone. I put that on my page. Within a cycle of 24 hours, it became one of the top 3 most searched articles in the entire world. It was number 3. Thank you very much. Thank you. All those issues bring credibility to our platform. This is because in Dubai, when you are in Dubai, they are not allowing anyone to share any material. In fact, they are arresting whoever takes pictures of the attack, of any damage that is done to any of their infrastructure. So you can imagine why that simple picture sent to me became the only credible source of information on the attack of the Dubai Financial Center. And it showed in the Google searches that mine became one of the top searches. My page became one of the top searches where I had posted that. And credible newspapers like even the Financial Times of UK and Guardian of Financial Times of India and Guardian Weekly of UK quoted my page. Kudos to that. So that your Mwambani propagandist, the statistics are showing totally different. We are credible, we are reliable, and we can be quoted by serious institutions that sometimes have trouble even quoting the traditional media in Zambia. Let's go to the gist of the matter, the state of the nation. The Electoral Commission of Zambia has released the electoral calendar for our elections, and they start 30 days from now. On 15th April, presidential candidates must submit the 100 voters per province required. This is 1,000 supporters of their own. So the elections are starting in earnest in the next 30 days because whichever presidential candidate must submit the 1,000 supporters to ECZ. ECZ must identify them, must clear them that they're registered voters and that they support such a candidate, and they must log them in. A month later, in May, Parliament will be dissolved, I think on 15th May, and immediately the nomination process starts for the president, members of parliament, mayors, council chairperson, and councillors. And there's a calendar even for all of them, presidential candidates, I think from, 18 to 23rd of May 2026. The election is now here. It's not in the future. Like we've been discussing that the opposition should come together, that people should work together. No, the process has begun. And sometimes people don't see the agency. The process has begun. You have to mobilize, if you're a presidential candidate, you have to mobilize from each province 100 supporters and take them to ECZ. And ECZ must verify those voters. So the process is underway. Which brings me, before I go to the opposition, I'll start with UPND and just do a casual landscape view of the opposition. The comments I will make, I'm not here to injure anyone. I'm just giving my opinions as a geopolitical analyst using my experience, I was in government for 20 years, and for the bulk of those years at very senior level, I was permanent secretary for about 5 years. I was deputy permanent secretary for almost 10 years. I was ambassador for almost 8 years. And then I've participated in campaigns. I was a chief campaign figurehead in the 2014 elections for President Edgar Lungu. Remember, the chair of elections at the time was Wawili Nsanda, but Wawili Nsanda was ailing and he was mostly in South Africa. And you remember after President Lungu won, we lost him and we had all of us to go to that funeral and bury him in Kitwe. And I was in charge of media and campaign strategy. So literally even the work of Wawili Nsanda came on our team. We had a team where I was chair for media and political strategy. So I was very instrumental in running that elections. We had the candidate in Hakainde Hichilema who had been campaigning as soon as President Michael Sata died. We engulfed in this infighting and to navigate the crisis inside and then go out to an actual elections and win that election. Is something I treasure because it gave me the bulk of experience that when I give opinions, I don't give opinions because I don't like your candidate or I love your candidate. I do an assessment that is called as facts are. I was instrumental in the 2006 elections for President Michael Sata. Many people will remember that when President Chiluba, who I was working for as administrator and spokesperson, fell out with Levi Mwanawasa. He was MMD president of the party. Levi Mwanawasa was trustee. And as soon as he became president, he had fashioned the MMD that it would be like the Nyerere type of politics, where the president leaves the stage but controls the party as president. It didn't take long. He was ousted as president from there. And the party, the NEC, MMD, put Levi Mwanawasa so that is what they said, there was no separation or two centers of power, because what had emerged is there was a group supporting the former president who was MMD president. And there was a group, especially the job seekers, supporting the current president, Levi Mwanawasa, and who was mayor trustee in the NEC of the MMD. So when they ousted Dr. Chiluba, was at the center, I just met him. He had given me these responsibilities as administrator and spokesperson. So to navigate the politics that emerged, for us even to go to the PF that was deemed as a joke by many, and we grew it into the largest opposition by 2006. We were very instrumental in growing that party with Dr. Chiluba. So when I speak, forgive me, I'm not speaking because I want to spite your candidate. No. Or I'm not praising your candidate because I want a favor from such a candidate. No. I'm merely giving sober facts. And let's go to the sober facts. Let's start with UPND. Number one, President Hakainde Hichilema must not shy away. He must go to the internal elections. For whatever insecurities President Hakainde Hichilema has, he stopped the process that was started by Gary Nkombo, the chairperson for elections, because Gary had started grassroots elections, because you need to have constituency, district and provincial elections before you have a national conference. When Gary started that process, he was immediately stopped because there were accusations that he was building a base not for President Hakainde Hichilema, but for himself. Now time has run out. I do not think that the UPND, I do not think for once that the UPND will hold a credible, transparent process to elect its leadership, because its leadership expired in February 2026. Remember, they held an election in 2021, in February 2021. So the 5-year mandate for the management committee and the 5-year mandate for President Hakainde Hichilema have expired. As they are illegal, they are living on expired mandate. Article 60 of the Republican Constitution requires that any candidate that will present himself to the Electoral Commission of Zambia as a presidential candidate must have held an acceptable election, they must have gone through a process where they are elected. I'll come to the issue of independence. As we are today, President Hakainde Hichilema is not eligible to stand in the 2026 elections because he has not gone to an intra-party elections. In their constitution, the UPND, what are they supposed to do? Exactly what Gary Nkombo had prescribed. Gary Nkombo wanted elections from the bottom to the top. By now, they would have elected President Hakainde Hichilema, and he would have been a legitimate president of the UPND, who then the UPND as a political party sponsor as a candidate to the national elections. Article 60 of the Republican Constitution and the Political Process Act, which we haven't enacted, by the way, but at least the provisions are there in Article 60 of the Republican Constitution, because these men who govern our country. So the framers of our constitution were very clear. These men who wish to lead our country must go through an internal process of scrutiny and election. As we are today, on this date, President Hakainde Hichilema is not eligible to stand as a presidential candidate for the UPND because he has expired mandate. What will the UPND do? They will probably do a sham, because there is no time to hold constituency elections, district elections. There is no time to hold provincial elections and then national elections where they elect a national management committee and then a president who in their constitution is also a presidential candidate. What they will come up is a sham. If we had an effective, robust judiciary, you know, there's something that a gentleman from South Africa who's been a robust member of the UPND, who has been a strong supporter of the UPND, Charles Longwe. The UPND and the Secretariat are treating him as a nuisance, like a fly they should swat. If you look at the profile of Charles Longwe, Charles petitioned President Edgar Lungu. He petitioned President Edgar Lungu's elections. In fact, the dismissal of the 3 Constitutional Court judgment arises from the petition that Charles Longwe raised in 2016 when they ruled on the issue of the 14 days. In 2021, again, Charles Longwe petitioned. He was among those people, remember Sishua, John Sangwa, and others. They said President Edgar Lungu was not eligible because he had been elected twice. Among those petitioners is Charles Longwe. So Charles Longwe is not a political nuisance the UPND and the Secretariat are presenting. He's one man they've benefited from politically immensely. Of course, like they benefited from John Sango, like they benefited from Sishua. They might call them disgruntled, but these are principled men that are never moved by emotions. They're just merely moved by the facts. Charles Longwe has written a detailed letter asking the Secretariat that we risk going to an election with a candidate who's not eligible. If any one of the candidates that will participate in election petition President Hakainde Hichilema that is an illegal candidate, there's a likelihood that his candidature can be nullified. So Charles Longwe is only warning UPND what is constituted in their own party constitution and in the Republican Constitution. Of course, you are saying that President Hakainde Hichilema controls the executive, controls the judiciary. You never know. You never know. Who would have thought that there will be a judge who will convict at the height of his power, Kaunda's own son, Kambarage, for killing his girlfriend? Who would have thought that the president's son would be sentenced to death until he dies, until he dies? Who would have thought? And who would have thought that on the eve of elections, the Supreme Court judge, Supreme Court judge, Chief Justice, who tried to do a last-minute favor for President Kaunda and released Kaunda's son, was immediately fired by the new government. So strange things happen in an election year. If we have a judiciary that functions and as provided by the law, President Hakainde Hichilema's candidature risks and lies in limbo. That I can tell you. If we are just looking at the cold facts of the law, they lie in limbo. The UPND might be excited that the president is president of the country and no one in the party or in the judiciary can dare question his candidature. He is living in dangerous times. And I know at this very late stage that the UPND is not capable of holding a credible, fair, and constitutional inter-party general conference. They are not capable because of what it outlines. They've not held the constituency elections, they've not held the district elections, they've not held provincial elections. They have a management that is living on expired mandate. The mandate for President Hakainde Hichilema expired in February 2026. Does this mean that President Hakainde Hichilema is a weak candidate for the 2026 elections? No, not at all. Despite the facts, the president has been known with propensity to disregard the Republican Constitution. He has broken the Constitution of the land so many times. He has disregarded court orders so many times. He has passed a new constitution disregarding the provisions of the law. He has ignored our Republican Constitution, the very document he swore to uphold. So we may go to elections with an illegal candidate because he has demonstrated that he doesn't respect court orders, doesn't respect the law. What about his own constitution? Will he respect it? I don't think so. Is President Hakainde Hichilema a strong candidate? Yes, he is. Remember, the UPND was formed in 1998. It took them 23 years before they could take power. It took them, I think, for President Hakainde Hichilema about 16 years, himself at the helm of the UPND, to get this power. He got this power from a strong government, an incumbent government. He wrestled power from the opposition. When stacks were put, hurdles and stacks were put against possibility of an election, he wrestled power from a ruling party, from an incumbent. So you only underrate him at your own peril, because now he has state and state house infrastructure. He has state power and state institutions at his discretion. You cannot underestimate a candidate. Just look at him. He cried democracy, that there was no democracy in the country. He cried that there was no rule of law. He cried that there was no respect for human rights. When he became president, when you're outside, things look glossy. When he became an insider, he became a worst perpetrator of the very values and principles that he promoted. So to expect that you respect the Constitution is an uphill battle, especially when we have a dead civil society. Other than for a few voices, such as Linda Kasonde, Brebna Changala, who's been a rallying voice for the opposition in Zambia, other than a few people, President Hakainde Hichilema spent a lot of resources and a lot of threats and intimidations to paralyze institutions, paralyze the opposition, paralyze civil society. In many cases, he has bought them because he gave them jobs. You have people like Laura Miti who are apologists for President Hakainde Hichilema, who should be protecting the rights of our people, and they've no shame. So we only have a few voices. Even in the Catholic Church, the bishops among them have been infiltrated. And you see a few of the bishops speaking for the country and for the people. But we know that even among the bishops, there are some bishops that have been compromised. So the state of the country is perilous because there are muted voices. there is an election coming where the president is not eligible to stand, but he will stand anyway. He will use the bully of money, bully of state institutions, and bully of the law to stand even when he's not qualified to stand. I say this, like I said, in the next 30 days, it's not possible that the UPND can hold a genuine, free, and fair intra-party elections as prescribed by their own rules and regulations. We come to the opposition after the break.
Has made reference that they were suspended for absconding Parliament, or suspended for not being heard by Parliament without the privileges sitting to suspend us. Only the Speaker single-handedly suspended us for 30 days. Secondly, the hate speech is only applicable to the members in opposition when the Secretary General of the UPND calls Anak Bishop of Lusaka a Lucifer is not hate speech. When the Minister of Education calls the people of Luapula province as suffering from poverty of the mind is not hate speech. When I say I'm more intelligent than him, it's hate speech. Where is freedom of expression?
Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. Share the broadcast. This is very important, what we are doing today. Very, very key to share knowledge, and as we embark on this journey to have our elections in 2026. We had news last week. Following the ruling by the Lusaka High Court, Justice Concepta Chinyanywa Zulu, the Registrar of Societies, has effected the court orders and has reinstated Mao Sampa as Patriotic Front president. Remember, this should have been done in May 2025 because Mao Sampa fired Morgan Ingona as his Secretary General and replaced him with himself. And he made changes at Parliament. The Speaker refused to accept those changes, and the Registrar of Society refused to amend the records. To his credit, this was in 2024. Morgan Ingona rushed to court. Why did this happen? Is that a few days before, we saw that Mao Sampa reconciled with the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. They had a cup of tea, you saw those pictures, and he pledged to return the PF back to the fold, back to the grouping that was led by President Edgar Lungu. And when he tabled the matter before his Central Committee, where Morgan Ngona and Chavinga were, of course, they were both surrogates from the state, so they defied Miles Sampa. So before they could do anything, he decided to take a stern action. He removed Morgan Ngona as Secretary General and removed Robert Chavinga as leader of the opposition in Parliament. The following few days, we saw Morgan Ngona obtain a court injunction resisting the removal, meaning things remained on the status quo. So although Miles Sampa had removed both Morgan Ngona and expelled MP Robert Chavinga, there was nothing that could be done because there was a court injunction. But for failure to prosecute the matter, in May 2025, Justice Concepta Chinyanywa Zulu, to her credit, removed the injunction, said you are failing to prosecute the matter. It's been 1 year and you are failing to prosecute it. So the injunction in which you are seeking protection, so that these actions are not done against you, should be removed. You saw at the steps of the Supreme Court there, Miles Sampa celebrating that it is now done. Morgan Ngona is no longer Secretary General of the party because the action to remove him and the injunction that held him is no longer in place. But what did we do? What did we see? We saw the Registrar of Society, the acting Chief Registrar, in fact, make changes and remove Miles Sampa as President of the PF and put Robert Chavinga as President of the PF. And Robert Chavinga began to go around Lugwalo, at Lugwalo Lulinaine or Lugwalo Lulinaine. I don't know, in the comments tell me what Lugwalo is. What language is it? What does it mean, you know? But he simply was saying, as office bearers, I have the titles of the party to myself. They've removed Miles Sampa. Now, that was illegal. That was contempt. That was contempt by the Chief Registrar because there was a court order firing Morgan Ngona. But you know that this is a process where President Hakainde Hichilema and State House have been personally involved. We have been very, very strong on that judge. But if you pursue the facts before that court, are that she has actually been instrumental. She doesn't enforce the law, but she had removed the injunction that protected Morgan Ngona and the decisions that were made at Parliament, May 2025. So what we saw this week, where now the case was thrown out for want of prosecution, because Morgan Ngona and Robert Chavinga have been using the court process to hijack and steal the Patriotic Front, even without court orders. So what we have seen now is another development. This development should have happened in May 2025. What we've now seen is just a fresh development where the court have dissolved that matter because Morgan Ngona has failed to prosecute the matter since 2024, June 2024. What does it mean? Effectively, it means that the party is back, but it is with Miles Sampa. Remember, there are two processes. There is a process we sued Miles Sampa that he had held an illegal conference which declared him president. And we've had running court battles. That matter was overtaken by events when Miles Sampa decided to come to President Edgar Lungu and they had the cup of tea. And between them, they settled that the PF should return to original owners. A fresh election should be held, whether to re-elect President Lungu or any other candidate. But that process was thwarted. So what we did was to reinforce the agreement between Edgar Lungu and Miles Sampa, a consent agreement, because there were various cases in the courts of law, including the expulsion of those 7 MPs led by Brian Mundubile. We decided to use that case to settle the matter between the PF. So Miles Sampa's lawyers and the PF lawyers for Raphael Nakachinda, Brian Munduvile, and others came together and did what is called a consent agreement and deposited it in court. This is a consent agreement that has not been signed for almost 1 year. And our cry with the judge was that this is an agreement whose parties have agreed to resolve the matter. Why are you not signing it as required by law? We saw many consent judgments signed, especially for the compensation of UPND cadres. They were being signed, Frank Tayari, former Minister of Education, current Minister of Transport, a gun was pointed at him, 450,000 given to him. We saw 32 million given to a few cadres that were imprisoned. We saw all those consent judgments signed, but the PF judgment was never signed. That particular matter is coming up on 27th March. It was postponed because there were intervening development. In between, there was Robert Chabinga, who came to join to the case because he realized that the PF matter will be settled and the PF will finally go back, will reconcile all the factions in the PF. So he feared what would happen and he came to join the case. But when it came to prosecuting that case, Robert Chabinga even feared to come on the stand because no one has ever elected him. And he feared that he would disclose the details of how he became acting president on the office bearers in the Registrar of Societies. So that matter, which effectively gives the PF, because what has happened now is that Mao Sampa has wrestled the PF from Robert Chabinga, but there is a larger group, those that are being led by acting president Given Lubinda, who are waiting for the reconciliation through the consent judgment between Mao Sampa and Given Lubinda so that the parties' factions can be reconciled and we can go to elections and hold a general conference. This is where we are. It's a huge political victory for Mao Sampa, who has prosecuted this matter with his own resources, with his own money, and he has been resilient. Finally, he's been given. Robert Chabinga decided to appeal, which is a delaying tactic, which is usually an abuse of the court process. Judge Concepta Chinyanwa Zulu allowed the appeal, but she threw out his application to stay her own judgment. She said this is an abuse of the court process. Because what was she going to stay? She had removed an injunction that protected Morgan Ngona in May 2025. And now, for almost 2 years, he has failed to prosecute the case. What was she going to stay other than to participate in abuse of the court process? This window gives the PF to hold a proper general conference. I don't know if they have to wait for the judgment that will take place on March 27th. I don't know the internal workings that are currently underway because this matter, we've left it to presidential candidates, and we want the candidates, the Electoral Commission and the Secretariat to hammer out agreements, including key stakeholders like Mao Sampa, to resolve this issue. I think when the matter is ripe, Celestine Mukandila will come to you, the media, and probably even come on this forum to come and explain where they are. But there's this golden window in which the PF can hold a genuine, legitimate legal conference. You have Brad Munduvile, who fell away, who was one of the strongest candidates in the PF, but who's fallen away with the leadership and the structure and the rules of the PF, is now outside. He's formed, this breakaway Tonse Alliance and is running on FDD. In the PF, there's Makebi Zulu, there's acting president Given Lubinda, Chimbaka Mbwidi, Chilufya Chitalu, Dr. Chitalu Chilufya, and others, Willa Joseph Mudolo, that are pursuing this presidency and this election. Which brings me to another matter of Brian Munduvile, a dear brother of mine, a dear friend of mine, and I am surprised that his supporters accuse me of 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 fighting him. I can't fight Brian. Brian is a dear friend of mine I've known for 30 years. You know, when I arrived in Kasama as permanent secretary, there were a lot of things that I was doing because I recognized as PS, having worked, you know, in civil service with a lot of experience, I recognize that our MPs, you know, it's another matter for our MPs because people want MPs to build roads, to dig boreholes, to do all sorts of things that MPs are not mandated to do. MPs are legislators. They are just supposed to be at parliament. And out of 1 year, 9 months is spent with our MPs being in parliament. So I devised a program to help my MPs because I know the discord, the discord that is between the MP, elected MP, and the constituency. Because MP promises to build roads, clear feeder roads, build crossing points, buy maize. They promise heaven on earth, but they are mere legislators. Unless they will use their money, they have none. The things they promise to our people can be done. So I devised a program with the experience I had that I'm going to help our MPs in the entire province. So, for example, the water rig that digs boreholes was in every district where there was no water. My duty was just to look for fuel. You know, I worked very closely with RRU, Rural Roads Unit at the time. It was independent, but I'm told it has merged. Then there is also ZNS that is present at the province for infrastructure. My duty was to look for their fuel, and I deployed them to districts and constituencies to ease the burden of our MPs, because our MPs spend up to 9 months in parliament. And as a PS, I said, I don't want my MPs. This is an area, and I have to develop it. So I found the issues in Mporokoso where Brian Mundwile had stood. There were very strong people that had stood in 2011. Even if there was this strong wind of change for the PF, there were areas of resistance in Mporokoso, Lunte and Mporokoso itself, in Mpulungu, Mbala, and remember Northern Province at the time was one. Mafinga, Isoka, Nakonde. These were areas where the MMD still registered very strong presence. And Brian had stood on the MMD ticket and had scored huge numbers. Professor Wilombe from the University of Zambia won because the PF, there was a by-election before, and before long, there was a general elections, and Professor Wilombe won that election. But he was complaining, we want to, we candidate to Brian. My elections now, Peter, but he's holding tournaments, he's holding, you know, he's still very strong in the, he had, despite the loss, Brian had begun the campaign for 2016 elections. So I called Brian and we had a good discussion. Professor Wabombeko. And that's how we picked up the friendship. By 2014, Brian was with the PF, was working very strongly with us. By 2015, you remember that President Edgar Lungu had now even appointed him as ERB board chairperson. So these young people, these bloggers, have no idea of our relationship. So when I provide criticism to Brian and the Tonse Alliance, it's not personal. First, I had to defend the party to demonstrate that what they had done was illegal, that what they had done was running out of patience and therefore exploiting the inadequacies that we were facing, where we didn't have the party, where the party it was becoming more grim that the party would never be returned to the PF. And many members across the country kept on saying, Pangen decision. And Brian Mundwile exploited that opportunity and went. And he had support of some MPs and some party structures. So when we condemned that process was illegal, that process was not sanctioned by the party, it's not that I'm fighting Brian. The party has statute, as regulations, as a structure. That's what leadership is all about. And our structure was being led by Given Lubinda. And when one of our members strayed, as a senior member and spokesperson of the party, had a duty to communicate the strong position of the party, even if Brian Mundwile was a dear friend of mine. So I do not bother with people that misunderstand me. I've never bothered to explain myself. I think I just do my job and focus on what needs to be done. So the FDD, which is supporting Tonse Alliance and which has become the special purpose vehicle, held a conference last week at which Dr. Chifumu Banda, former veteran Chasefu MP and former vice president of FDD, scooped the presidency. And they put in their clause that they will sponsor a candidate from Tonse Alliance. And they stated that Tonse Alliance has adopted Brian Munduwile as its candidate. And therefore, the candidate, presidential candidate for FDD, although it has a president in Chifumu Banda, will be Brian Munduwile. There are two issues there. Number one is, was the conference legit? Now, don't get emotional. These are cold facts. Citizen First, Harry Kalava, remember, he was deplatformed. They took away the political party from him. And you should admire the resilience of Harry Kalava. They took away the platform from him. He started from scratch, registered and built Citizen First. And last year, they decided to have a general conference in accordance with the law, Article 60. Before you go to general conference, you have to have an internal conference. This applies to everyone, including the PF and the UPND. Harry Kalava held a general conference, and the Registrar of Society refused to accept that his general conference was legit. What were the questions that they asked Harry Kalava? Is that, number one, you didn't give us notice as required by the law, by the regulations. You didn't give the Zambia police notice of 30 days. You didn't give the Registrar of Societies a notice of 30 days. Remember, these are constitutional matters. They require that they are monitored by the law and by those prescribed to monitor it. So, Citizens First General Conference in 2025 was nullified on those two accounts. This becomes a warning to all those holding general conferences as they go to elections. You should ask KBF. He has held one very successfully, notified the police. In fact, KBF's general conference was postponed twice. Why? Because he had not met the regulations of 30 days. And the police kept on telling him that you can't hold it within a period of 2 weeks. So until the 30 days were satisfied, the police monitored his election in Kitwe, and the Registrar of Societies also monitored the election of KBF. That's why KBF, giving his victory speech, invited the PF. He says, I have Lugwalo now. Come and find a home in here. Why? Because his conference had adhered to the rules as set. So Citizen First, their first general conference in 2025, was nullified on that score by the Registrar of Societies. So Harry Kalava decided to comply with these rigid requirements, and he held a second general conference at which he was now popularly elected and accepted, and all institutions accepted his elections. Similarly, Fred, member of the Socialist Party, also complied with those regulations. He gave 30 days notice to the police, to the general public, to his members, and to the Registrar of Societies. Why do they want you to follow these procedures? Remember, Article 60 of the Republican Constitution has elevated the standards of who should be your presidential candidates. They want them to go through a certain process because the requirements for who should be president are listed, I think, in Article 35 of the Republican Constitution. So they want time to verify. Are you Zambian? Are you not bankrupt? Has any court declared you bankrupt? Are you in any way could have served jail sentences beyond is Is it 3 years or 6 months? Someone in the comment who know the law can comment to me. So to help scrutinize that, that's why they need to monitor all processes and scrutinize you. Why? Because ECZ only has 5 days when you file in, and they have to announce you as a successful candidate. When we say the opposition must pay attention to all these processes, it's not that we are alarming them, because these can be points of weaknesses where the state and DCZ can do mingalato and bar a potential candidate. When we call for transparency in these processes and for proper education by ECZ to partner with political parties as teams to bring development and democracy in our country, we don't mean to spite anyone, because we recognize that President Hakainde Hichilema can use these processes against the opposition. We have seen how he has weaponized the law against the opposition. So I haven't spoken to Dr. Lawrence Mwelwa or Chifumu Banda. I hope that the FDD conference complied with those regulations. It's just not easy. Similarly, it's my court to the PF, who are about to hold the conference, and they've been trying to hold the conference since February 28th. And now that they have the papers, they should become aware of this. Before I open phone lines, we are discussing the state of the nation and the state of the opposition. We saw our dear brother Fred Membe with the son of the president who's been removed from office from Venezuela and is here in the United States and is being prosecuted on drug and money laundering charges. But Fred Membe seems to have penetrated these comrades in the socialist community in Cuba, in Venezuela, and we saw a wonderful picture of Fred Membe with a son to President Maduro. The opinion poll, before I forget, I saw some criticism of the opinion poll. Well, good news again, good news. The results of the opinion poll has been reported in newspapers in Namibia, Malawi, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Kenya. Like I was saying, you might denigrate what we do, but there are many people that hold us with serious credibility. And why was our poll legitimate? First, it attracted 800,000 views. 800, almost a million. When you look at the statistics, almost a million, but 800,000 views. I had a total of 100,000 votes. 42,000 votes came for the online voting. Badabale voter, HK, MZ, BM, but yeah, 42,000 of those comment. Then on the Facebook poll, we had 60,000 votes. So total 100,000 votes. This is a very large sample size. Even if you don't like Emmanuel Mwamba, the process itself is so rigid that you ought to respect it. The winners there, and there's something I need to announce. The winners was in the Facebook poll was President Hakainde Hichilema, where he scored 51%. But we put it to scrutiny. Remember I said I was reluctant to announce the overall winner. I just announced categories. President Hakainde Hichilema's supporters or managers of social media sent in 7,000 bots. What are bots? Bots are, I've tried to explain it to our people in a very simple way. I can today pay Facebook and I say my target at the end of the month is that I want to have 1 million supporters. On my page, they're organic. I've never advertised, never a single day advertised. So the numbers you see, that's why you see on Facebook that someone can have large numbers. But look at the following. They will have 10 followers. If you open your Facebook page, let me just open it for clarification. I wish I could have known. I would have shown you. Come on. So there's a part that shows that, for example, my followers as at now are 329,000 followers. But those following my page every day, 826. This is a very large number. Let me compare to the largest page in Zambia, Mwebantu. Mwebantu is almost 3 million followers, but it only has about 1,000 people following it. You see these pages with big numbers, but they will have 200 people following, 60 following, 71 following. So our page is a very big page by the statistics online. So to that poll, we are supposed to subtract 7,000 votes from President Hakainde Hichilema because he sent what we call bots. Bots are not real people. You can pay an Indian fame or Nigerian fame. Ask the musician if they want to hit on YouTube 1 million people overnight, they will pay. And if you scrutinize the people that vote for them, you will find sometimes 20,000 comments replicating just one comment. So those are not real people. Is what we call bots. And so President Hichilema didn't, my team is still scrutinized, didn't reach 50%, 50 plus 1% in the Facebook poll, because we have to remove, out of the votes that he got 23,000. We have to remove 7,000 votes because we traced one single bot from Vietnam that sent in about 3,000 votes and another one from India. So I think to shore up his support, the people that are managing President Hakainde, to fool him that he's very popular, they just pushed in those numbers and quickly he rose to 23,000 votes. And the next person on that Facebook poll was Brian Mundubile with about 17,000 votes. But so we are scrutinizing if any of the candidates sent in bots. That's why I like those that were typing, HK, MZ, or BM, because those are real people. You can see them. Even there, we had to remove the duplicates. You remember in one poll, we had polled about 10,000 for online votes, and we only got 3,000 because the other 7,000 were problematic. Either people were repeating and typing, one person typing 500 times. So those, when you push it through AI, it scrutinized and said, for your poll, just get the 3,000 votes. So we continue to scrutinize this. So President Hakainde Hichilema didn't reach the 50 plus 1. We have to subtract the 6,000 votes that he got through the bots. One from Vietnam, another bot that pushed in the numbers. One of the supporters for my dear brother John Sangwa, I said, when you were doing the 1 million vote, when you reached to 70,000, you got stuck. Then you removed all the guardrails, phone numbers, email address, and then the numbers shot to 1 million. So how sure are you that you're not using bots? It's the same criticism that I'm using on President Hichilema. Because as soon as you remove the guardrails, then you expose yourself to unnatural numbers because someone can send in to please you or to please who's sponsoring the numbers. Like they fooled President Hakainde Hichilema that on our Facebook poll, he had scored 51% when he had not. On the phone calls, Harry Kalaba won the first time and he also won the second time. He also did very well on the online polls. President Hichilema did very poorly both on online polls, on online votes, and on the phone calls. I remember even on the phone calls, President Hichilema only received 12 votes. So our opinion poll, looking at a large sample size, and the various methods we used are credible. And I think that's why the newspapers in the countries I've mentioned have reported the results. Someone is saying my other page is not showing us live. We'll check what could be the problem, but I know that on YouTube we are live and on the other pages we are live. The lines are open. You can make your contributions.
we have serious problems that need to be addressed. Unity cannot be there when other regions in this nation are crying foul. The Barossa Agreement, as you know, was abrogated in 1969 and removed from the Constitution of Zambia, meaning that that agreement now became obsolete. But the people are crying foul. Today, the remains of our late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, for us who are Zambians, like for me, I don't even know where they are. That breaks my heart. A leader is supposed to be honest. A leader is
Okay, I want you to speak. Let's open the phone lines quickly so that you can speak. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions. Oh, Mr. Sinyango from Canada. Yes.
I have three contributions today. Yeah. And my first contribution is I'll ask you. You are still a very cardinal member of PF and you're still in the MCC. What is your role to see to it that they have a good convention and they abide by the 30 days mandate that you just explained to us? Because where we are now, we don't want them to be held to say you did not follow the law. So where are you with the team, and what is your role to ensure that we have a good convention? Because you have got so much you are so much experience in this game. Second, my observation with the polls that you held, there's only one winner in this. If you look at it, MZ8 and Ari Kalaba, MZ won the first with a margin of 43%. The second one, MZ didn't do well, but it was within 40, while Ari Kalaba was 43 and the other one was 42. MZA was still in 40. So for me, after you conducted a very good opinion poll, I was happy and I'm still celebrating to say, he is a man who comes on the political scene. He hasn't even done so much campaign, but he's still as a follower. And for me, this is a wake-up call to everyone to say, politics is about numbers and it's about selling your candidate. And for me, I'll continue supporting MZ8 because for me, he has shown and proven to say he's a man of integrity. Then for the third point is, we have seen that this other party in government, they have always tried to play Mingalato in how they do things, how Mao Sampa was even given the name for the registrar without even following the laws. So what is your comment when this party that has been playing Mingalato, their terms has concluded as really to say the sitting president is no longer the party president? So what should us Zambians do? Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba, and God bless you and God bless all the people that are listening.
Thank you very much, Basinyango. A quick one. You are right. The polls were won by President Hakainde Hichilema for the Facebook poll, Hari Kalaba for the phone calls, and Makebi Zulu for the online poll. The three shared the vote. My role in PF, I always communicate like I've communicated here, my advice. But those are collective decisions. They have a leadership structure led by acting president, they have a secretary general. All I can do is advise and contribute in my own small way. I don't run the PF, it's run by Honorable Given Luwinda. And when the party takes position, we are obliged by their decision. So those will be the quick answers to you, my dear brother Sinyango from Canada. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Alex, good evening, Ambassador.
Alex, make your contributions.
My concern is these judgments that you have referred to concerning PF and Chavinga. Ambassador, a concern is that there's an appeal to this judgment. And this appeal, there will be a delay. Once they delay, I feel even the judge herself and all the process for them to arrive.
Alex, let me correct you. The judge has accepted an appeal, but the judge refused to stay on action, meaning Morgan Ingona remains expelled. And the decisions that were made by Mao Sampa in 2024 to remove Robert Chavinga and to remove Morgan Ngona are valid. Unless he had a stay, but he didn't get a stay. The judge dismissed the stay. So as we are now, the party is with Mao Sampa.
But how do we trust Vasampa really? Because remember, Vasampa's convention did something that he did not follow the right procedure.
No, remember again, just to help you, there is a consent judgment whose ruling is coming on the 27th of March. That I explained, maybe we're not here. I explained that number one, what has happened in court is Sampa has gotten the PF from Robert Chavinga. That's what has happened. But the PF to go to the main PF where acting President Given Lubinda is, there is a consent judgment that has been pending since 2025. So that matter is coming up on 27th March 2026. But again, you have to give Honorable Mao Sampa credit. He reconciled with the late president. So you still can't raise the issues when the two settled the matter. He even committed himself and accepted to the terms of the consent judgment. He accepted that his conference was not proper. He accepted in writing matters that are before court. So for me, for those two issues, we have to give Mao Sampa credit. Let's not look at the past. He reconciled with the late president. Number two, he signed a consent judgment to give back the PF to the legitimate owners. So you can't still kick a man who has done those things.
But now, sir, now the issue is, this matter is coming on the 26th March of this year, and the parliament will be dissolved in May of this year. As the party of PF, do they have the time to put the whole things in order for them to participate?
The matter to worry about is the one coming up on 15th April, where presidential candidates have to submit 1,000 voters. Parliament will be dissolved 2 months from now, and nominations are 2 months from now. In between, let's see how will they behave. My point, Alex, is how will they behave? UPND doesn't have the same time as PF. So what will UPND follow the 30 days notice? Will UPND ensure that they comply with the law? UPND has not held this conference too.
But these people, they don't respect the constitution. They can do it at any given time.
Correct. That I agree.
So these are the concerns that as a citizens, as the followers of the part of our choice, would want to see these things done of yesterday.
I think Honorable Given Lubinda is up to the game. I'll try to see if we can bring Celestine Mukandila. He comes and answers all these concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador Konge.
Yes, from Endita.
I will talk about Ambassador first in the Tasha Mao Sampa. Mutima wabo yuko kunkanyepo kwato mutima wa musangwefi. Bantu mutima wa musangwefi ulafundira na bantu mumano. Abale mwana ko yore ekintu. Muntu ontara ruba nokusumira pa omwana wafe barubire. Mao Sampa batana sana kwa kuma international human rights kuma ambassadors, American ambassadors kwesha fyo kwebati babatule eri ashirikire fyo tabarala rona wonse ubale umana wakapi epashiri apa kulika. That's why nenda kana sana bantunga barandati.
Yep.
Neso basata bashi. Oro then number 2 ambassador nerombako ndande ko pamuna ndiwe mirandire ko ambassador to imitera sana umuchinshi kailimu bombeni ndero mbako kumulumendo oyu wa PF oyu mulumendo nshishi weno nshita position yakwenga iberere peso oyu mulumendo achimbira ya mushi ama video yake mupanga pali imwe twapapata ta mulingeri kuna nkona nguli pano ono pata sana afiria wesha amano na ngula na kwata ba supporta bakande choko atemu alero muchinshi usuma sana elio muchinshi kwa karamba wali wama pantu kasambile achinje palialengi aro namba 3 pali tunse aransa mpasa daba bantu abaranda no kendiko question number 1 bushe ba bantu rusi tunse aransa kali ambasa damulakano ku barumbureshina pamwenu shiba jonse muramuranga na barumbureshina bati papeji tomugo bara bantu abararemba kweshawa mukudi number 1 ba tunse aransa lita bushe walita design mu PF ushenga tawokiri design pa nchito wayambe nchito kumbi nishti ulitinka olo number 2 yoni number 2 constitution ya tonse arani iyo bapangire bayisiyo nabantu bonse iyalingiro kutako mukicha ma opposition parties ila constitution bali itoba nombanga batoba constitution ya shireba ECAO yara abashani ECAO movement because movement ni constitution ya ita drive organization ila constitution baikire pansho warungu kwa nabo bonte baba afire nkambi aba mafunde ya charu bapanga ilya constitution ya tonse ya kwa tia sta accommodate ama opposition yali una kafyaro naba bale fyaro bachipangire chako kwa United Front opposition nomba igabena ba tonse arani ababa iliko baliona ola rupapuro nomba bakwete rupapuro bakwete balebonja rupapuro because rupapuro ruro ashire ba SEO rupapuro ruli mu PF pamoja tapani kwa yao naola ifyali mutonse ya mbire ba ECAO nomba tinshi barahurira ba ECAO babazise kwandika ntiro kuraba zika paswa mpafyabo wao amano bakiri ba ECAO bena bali yakana nombanga movement ya shaniyo abantu bafuri bashitashani bali pusha because PF famoso bakindishe feshina batonse filefyadi muri line movement ya ECAO yefe balingiro kubomba pamo ba opposition Filipo kachitana accommodate wa opposition nomba barabambe abakindishe rupapuro torabeta ati niba nani nangu stanzi oko baberere ni pesa because PF tatuishwe ba PF tabatpera resignation letter wafuma fe baya again bamu kutetera mpa structures ya PF bamwamba mukarondorore ko cyaba na registered ama registered ya province registration ya province ya district ama structure for yabo it is organization ushenga washita temple organization ya registered nishina chwa yoli iliko na ngoli uliliko abantu bafuye bashitashani bayipusha uro pambi ba mwamba
leken twaske ko bambi
tibiri fe ba mwamba na raptura bamukandira na barubinda ngachakwe bati tabale wangu convention basenda ama candidate wabatandashe mu structures wonke pamwa bashara ama candidate ngachakwe bati convention director nombali batandagire ama structures.
Thank you. Let's. Yeah, we saw what Bamunkonge is talking about during Women's Day and during the Youth Day, where various structures were all wearing PF regalia, but others would just carry a banner, either MZ or BM8. We saw that, and it was great confusion where everyone was fighting for PF PF to be identified as PF. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Yes, my brother.
Bamwambaini nachikwata kufya mashiwe ya kuikatana pamo fyachindeta pano muri chino echunguro na chirafua ya nchite emphasize sana kuli ababana abataba mu PF abarechita abuse platform yesu ya PF hii platform EMZ ni platform ya PF ofona ishi bafoto ayambire forever ne podcast kotwaisa mbana lisa mona bari abantu abakuli bakaraba pati yabwati nishani shine
awe bane mwiyoko bane pano hii platform umfweni platform yaba opposition umfweni hii platform yabe na Zambia yakwafirisha bena Zambia abalefiro okulanda tabakweta mailandile mu Zambia echo twaipangire platform echo mwena ba Fred Membe balesa ba KBF balesa ba Mundubire balesa bonse balesa in fact ba PF bachepa nokuchepa please aba kwakala bangana bayitemwa muibatamfya ni platform yabona bena
na shachirafo ukuranda mawezi ya division shachirafo kuleta unity
okay London kanshi
kwa advise na charanda ti na shachirafo kubati bonse abena beza po platform yesu mubashite kwa advise apopo tufikire ama election ya last year ngachako bati taba pose kwa abantu tuchite unite walesa mkubika ko ilabaita ati HH2090 ngabapita fyapa so barombeni ko bonse abakuri bakaraba abakuri ba Membe abakuri ba Rubinda nalite kwa sana amashu yabo fshi bankanduru era time bare chitaronchi ati pamozi hoteweja bali sana ndo bankanduru amashu yasuma sana
Pamozi Alliance
unity Pamozi Alliance yo ture kasara muri hoteo bika mutwe mwena muri hoteo so ture totera sana ture fa bantu bonse bekatani bese bawina ma election atapari ure wina ma election ekaya oro so de isa para platform yeso se mkuranda tibaraba kuri ba muntu biri aba kuri ba sampa aba kuri ba nani taturefuaya future beti.
Okay, I think we got you. Thank you very much. And you are right. We've spent a lot of time trying to unite the opposition. Hello, caller. You are muted. Please make your contributions.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Mwamba. This is Uncle Jay.
Thank you.
First of all, I just want to appreciate you. Indeed, you are an epitome of wisdom politically in Zambia. This is the only place and the only person that we can get wisdom from politically. You are not biased. You are so balanced. You speak, if the things concern, the governing party, the opposition, you've called them as they should be called.
Uncle Jay, are you cut? Uncle Jay, you are either muted. You've muted yourself, Uncle Jay. You've muted yourself.
All right. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Yeah. So you've given out actually balanced information, and we are grateful. May God continue to sustain you. My call right now is on Honorable Given Lubinda, President Given Lubinda, to quickly expedite the issue of the convention in the light of what you've just stated. I think we shouldn't actually relax. These things have to be put in place. And I actually ask that let them.
Uncle Jay, your phone today, what has happened? I'll ask Uncle Jay to call back because we seem to be losing him. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Ambassador Mwamba.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Kwakaputa kuno mkwai.
Mkwai mwewe nakaputa la ndeni po.
Mkwai, natutira sana. Bamwamba lelo chanta shindala na umutima wandi Joseph lati. Yo kwena bamwamba chine chene ba diplomat. Dionsenga kwa chikube fikansa fimo. Awa indatashalesa the way you come out kutuwesha bwesha bonse. Mpaka abantu tuanaka tuaya munchile yomlela andilapo. Ndeushano bishikuba bamwalanga lipira kabila tumwalete dia shilimbi. Ubushikuba kawana bayingile ku studio kulya nshishimenge mwali ku Diamond or wherever bayisa vipaka TV
Mwali Saka radio
kwati kumikanga how you sure mwaikala fyaba pona omutima ba kawana balande fe balefu abalanda namikata fe namusana namupona mwandini twetoteleza pa kutungulushi wa msango oyo mkwai dionse ko napo efine fintu kya kitikila twa tintana nomba twafika pakutila amapepa la yabwela kuli ba PF ama injunction na fimbiko muchiri mulelo ndola kwena ine ukulomba kwa anti konsapo twambira ubuteko bwa 2021 na cyber law tailaisa tulema n'abantu bale tukano olubalilumbe lulemo nikakwatikirie mpaka na cyber law yaisa nomba abamu opposition bayamba ukwikatua nokukakwa ba PF mwalikwete ama seats ala parliament yayamba okuchepa ba opposition at large pantu na ba independent candidates bonse ikatwa ba jeje banda buba butukiloko chawe nefyu bonse ba Brian Mundubile ba Citizens First bonse ba KBF ba mwali bono uchushi buli muchalo ima mwe bantu ba Zambia amalaita ayo kufuma mu 2021 apo ba president akainde ba shida tubateka ba wina the next week if na lapa abeni baba ndati after 12 o'clock na ba sworn in as president but 2 o'clock ni dollar yapona yaba 10 kwacha to 1 if in bala ile fiance challenge tikaze opposite ima bose mwe baba mu opposition tupususheni abekala chalo cha Zambia ngamwati mulole shefyo efintu fyalubana nolwa mutironse Minister Masebo bamwikata nefintu container fyami chuko kuli bansuru shiringiro kupenderwa pomuti ifirubo fyakulisha muri ubuteko tete tulantu pepere pankondo ifo yawe tulepepera fe pakutila imwe ba opposition balubinda bamundubile bonse bamudolo bonse basamba ifo twatotaliza pakuti basamba babweshe umutima balimba nenkata shama apologies basambana ali batambire live ku hijacking convention yabo kula kumulungushi nabashirika nabemini nefis polo consequence okuchingilila bali abantu nati nibanani bapele sampa na chiwabinga ubu buchingilishi mu state property bufile fyo kufuma ku buteko but look ila video abayikwata please produce it mukamfwe uko bamausampa balelanda ukwebati umuntu balabe nama delegates baletere ati ifungia shakubwelela mukwisa ko shachepa basampa batire shalaisa nombalinde from State House. I wondered why umutima wale nje but can you record this na aleka fya didn't record apepo mufile kuiko kutiba mausamba balifika pakutira ichi chintu nachitire techo to balibwela mu kubelela kubapokelela pantina ifo wonse tulatena in our own ways ififine basampa bana ko umutima babwela naleza wine kumfa amapepo aunfa alatantike fintu wow ulichelo lonsa kasubalo sechungulo bachabinga balyuku na babiringana ukula ndefu balelanda ndelo mpako abenga fuko kuna shemitima ni banani ba PF makwete mu convention mu constitution nokutila ngapala chitika meeting or conference or workshop ati mlachita lift ama suspensions yonse ukubika pressure kusana ati yo mundu bile alia chachine uyu mundu bile alia fofine mwe bantu na prodigal son ali kuchipingo mwena Kristo bonse apa ali asende chuma chaba wishi bamupela ayatakanya asha aonaula but when he realized awela kuli wishi ali waba radio kumupokelela wishi ali longing istayonsa ati mwana wanje akesa lilali namba mweba chiri kuli PF ne ipamozi yaisa pamo pamozi PF don't say PF pamozi sorry mkwaita tuchitena akwenti kuma teams ahead mweba likuli ichi chipani wishi emitima yenu yali bako receptive kuti ifi bamundu bile woke up one morning nabanaka ulabana kilomutima nabayichefya abati guys twabwela nabofya kweshibiri mkwaya abati guys twabwela are you ready to receive them bantu ichakula fifine mwachitire amapoza ya opinion pose mwe bantu mwe ushile ilukani nani mundu biloyo bamutemenwefe makebi bamutemenwefe baharikala batemenwefe. We can't deny it. That why we nemitima yabe na Zambia pafi bamwene fichiti kefili fertilizer babala ile 88 ukemkwakani na patubale imwe ero batatata balafu aine tashamwene po bulimi kwa fertilizer mzambia to fertilizer pakabali kwali ama cooperatives kale Northern Cooperative Union, Eastern Cooperative Union, fertilizer masaka pamwisha bafyashi beswale edima balishisha kuma cooperative unions ayali government parastatals. So ilero nomba mu 2020 mu 21st century elo tuse tumonye okulaka na fertilizer patubale abantu babipange abapina batubwese shenuma mwe bantu bakwalesa umfino kujya kwabera Zambia bweshanyeni bamundubire where are you kumpoloko soko bweshanye umutima iseni kuno kuchipani chakale ku PF ngamino ke convention kabien convention twapapata balubinde kabien convention bachishimba kambwiri kabien convention ababwela ti they are stepping down na imabe netwa totally lesa ito tule meet lock me papatira kutila tatulefa UPND kapite tukekala shani ifwe chile yafyo kulime bala lyonse tukekala shani ama light takuleba bana be school besta balebelenga bwino atikashiteni ama solar panels nishitile fenga ndaimo olo diabiri o yatatu ulupia la kuste solar panel ulikwisa because ama businesses na kutwashitisha ulupia abantu tabakwata. There is no money in circulation that much mwende on the onset of Ukuteko Ukwisa. Ela imboboze mweba ikala since the Kaunda times. Which government or which term in the Kaunda time who's lasted longer? Did you see Ukuteko Wapitafye apopenera campaign ya Tampa against that rulership? Ba kaindi hapo ba ingilira mula Ukuteko bwabo. Tesa ibalo yimu kwa ibambele kofi oluse. Ufumaze parapene ba winine twaba campaign mode. Tatwa bala tufumamu. Mpaka PF baisa paula largest opposition party baisusa ola ubukulu bwankoko masako bamundubire bweleni babweleni bose basampa bweleni bonse please bweleni bukusko muikatane pamu muntu afweko kufuma muri ichi chintu baisa tubika mwechakwe batupwe amano kuchipata takuli mutita twalandepo umisebo irebe yo tule mfika timi usebo yo bele 25 years rento ile bundu kakaleka bishe chachine bali mutangu makopa Belgium eba nomba ukumu kwesu michinsha Zambians nikoti yonse bapela abena fialo imwe ba PF mwe bateka pona kale you understand it ngatamwa tupusosha kule chintu cha kulikira mwezi tukachikasha next 5 years the possibility of ukuchinja ukuteko is there 100%. Ichibipilepo ni lack of humility mwe ba kuntanshi imwe ukuyitoba ukuyisabwelera uko mwafu minekale aba sendele chuma bayaja kunse balefiro kubwela that prodigal son aliyefi kweli alabwela. Don't wait for that time because ngachachira pa 2026 imwe mwikapere nsambu umunsundu ukumilimba ukozo umunsundu ngawakala nawo sana elo ulimba sana, so you quickly have to come out of menshi ngwa mfaka makane kutunga kwa kaputa kunoka tuenda mumenshi twalishibe minsundu. Hey,
thank you Maya, thank you very much, thank you for your wisdom. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contribution.
Hello. Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
Tandiwe Ketis Shingoma is my name.
My dear sister, the researcher and analyst, political analyst. Go ahead and make your contributions.
Yes, Ambassador Mwamba. In a contribution, Yandi, I want to address the President Hakainde Hichilema. Nendefo ayokube pusho kwebati. How many underhand methods is he going to use to mislead Davena Zambia? Pamfwa ya Balungu. We have seen one man in the name of Dennis Ken Utumba. He's a UPND person. So right now, I think some few minutes ago, he was on Crown TV telling Avena Zambia kwabati balungu tabafwa olonga teifyo balungu badi bashika kale kulupwa. So ba HH ababantu mate mo kwimi are trying to drive different narratives. You started with that pressure group from South Africa. Mwabaleta that pressure group to start demanding ukweba tibachite postmortem. Next nomba mwaleto yumwini Zambia. Mwakwata mutima wa shani. Mutima wa shani mwakwata. Your elder brother is in the morgue now for 9 months. And you want to continue politicking over his death. Mubomi bwabo balungu mwali bachusishe. We saw it. Everybody saw. He could have been your political rival. But that treatment you gave Kudi Balungu, nobody would wish it on you, Mr. President. Your predecessor was insulted day and night. Humiliated. On top of that, you denied him access to go and have his medical attention in South Africa. Lelo Balungu is no more. 9 months down the line, you're still following him. Finish him lefwaya. Finish him fwaya kumubidi wa Balungu. And for those that would want to say, no, HH is not interested. HH is interested. Because if HH is not interested, kumubidi wa Balungu, by this time we could have buried Balungu. We could have buried him. Why am I saying this? The Lungu family never refused that Balungu babalete kuno Zambia tabakeneyo. They only communicated one final wish of Balungu, and that wish was that Nangumwapela Balungu state funeral, HH should not be anywhere near his remains, nor should he preside over his funeral. You should not ask him why, or you shouldn't even ask the family why Balungu thought like that. It is his final wish. It just has to be respected. The question that I'm asking President Hakainde Hichilema now is, what is in the body of your predecessor that up to now you still don't want a grieving family ukushika? Why? You've been saying no, the family is the one who has to withdraw this case. No, but HH, you have the power to withdraw this case. You have the power to do this. You have the power. Nga mwafumamo fye mwaeba fya tawe. Na ida kesi ya chitike ku high court na fumamo, let the family bury. Nga mulete ku Zambia nshaka sangweko, I'll respect the wishes of my predecessor. The Lungu family will bury their loved one and they'll have a closure. Ine panondingo muntu. Anything else apart from superstitions. My heart bleeds to see Madam Esther Lungu being tortured like this, whilst grieving the husband, as if that is not enough. By church, but Dennis Kenny Mutumba, to come with a different narrative. Because by 9 months, this man was on Crown TV today. What an embarrassment. Ishimi Pambeshi, by church, what do you want to be remembered for? Let Balungu rest in peace. You can't continue with this, Mr. President. You can't continue like this. Where is your humanity? Umutima wa buntu wa HH ulikwisa. Umutima wa buntu ulikwisa. Balungu is in the mortuary for 9 months now, and you want us to pretend like everything is okay? And on top of that, you are still bringing people to start driving wrong narratives. Mwakwato umutima wa shani. What you are doing to the Lungu family, this is not something that would be wished on you. God forbid, nobody would wish what you are doing to the Lungu family or to Balungu Abeni on you. Nobody would wish that, because it's inhumane. Lastly, Baba Mwamba, Can HH do the right thing? Let Balungu rest in peace. Can you please respect his final wishes? Mwali bachusha Balungu when he was still alive. You can't continue doing this to the dead man. By HH. You can't. As though that's not enough, Bakabesha goes on to say, we need to bury Balungu before elections. What is the connection? Before elections, we need to bury. Imwe Bakabesha, mwafuma kubantu or mwafuma kuisa? Imwe, you just have to bury Balungu. What about the family? What about his final wishes? Michi mashasha ni mwakwata. Ayamano ya buloshi. Please let Balungu rest in peace and stop bringing these con men to be driving your narrative, and you think Zambians are stupid and are going to bite your story. Balungu is no more. Imwebe nemweka fieba government mwalifumishe death certificate. Mwafumia death certificate through Tayali, which is unethical even. You went ahead, you did this. Lelo mambo kupita natu Balungu tabafwa. Because tapa boa bamona. Mwibantu bashani. What kind of government are you? Nama politics muyatuare mchiriro. Mumfwa mtuare mama politics. Ba HH, you should have the heart of a human being. Bakabesha. Mfwile mwakwato mtima wabuntu. You can't treat the grieving family like this. 9 months. You are not even concerned of Obekala. How the body is being kept. You are using taxpayers' money to hire those lawyers in South Africa. Our money. We've not even allowed you to do this. You are using our money. We've not allowed you to do this. No, Balungu tabafwa. Mwapangwa shani. Mwafuma kubantu. By HH, you have to let the Lungu family bury their loved one according to his wishes. Thank you, Bamwamba.
Thank you, my dear sister. I have sadly seen some of the videos that are being issued by this Ken Mutumbo. Horrible hate speech and defamatory, and it's unacceptable that even a credible media like Crown TV even proceeded to host him. That means we are. Why would they want a body of a man who's alive? Why would they issue death certificates? Why would doctors issue certificates in South Africa? Come on, it's so below the par. Crown TV, you can do better. Don't allow these conmen to abuse your platform. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contributions. Bachansa Goodson, Landenipo.
Kwa infumini kwa kaputa mashugi nkwete kwe bati deto tera kuli mwelene waona lepo tu chimbicho ndefo kulanda kuli ba tonse lingana nga balita ba tonse isha namba wanu balifuma mu PF baya panga bene FDD so iya ichilefo kwa chakwe bati bachite concentrate kuli FDD notika ili bambyo kula leta ma problems ku PF awe bamo bene ba tonse ebarando kweba tiyo PF ta yakabwere after bamo na PF yabwera and then nabambu kula posero to posera
My brother cut. Thank you.
Tabukwete akatina akakutina ifunde so that tulingire twawera kabiri kuli batonse ngabe nyaba yapangwa kwe bati tuli batonse wa FTD even inchi na bena baya senda fietonse kuwonfya mako kwa bulokonka constitution ya tonse so chile pili bula tufire twayiruka kwe na Zambia busho uteko ntwa tampana fwe na bombi kula support ulinga tonse ukatutwala kuisa pandu tule tina iyi government ilipota ile konka amafunde tuta ile tino rupapulo so chimbinde ko serishafe kuli ba pamozi bonse bakwati okuikatana nero bala convention bekwata uli omutima wako bati ninewo bakayasala abakayasala abantu kulya kwine ero nombake ekibiko kutira dirita wa kitashani uwa wina dirita waso kubyo kwikatana because background abantu bali station balero lere ntungulushi bantu baraba tonsenga chakuti bali kwatalita nisha abantu bepishoko bati saleni ntungulushi cyo chile pilwa ni shirita tara station tara monica so
Oh, got cut. Hello, caller. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Amwamba.
Good evening.
Amwamba na totera sana kumpera kwa ishperi.
Enquiry.
Ndero mbako ngachako watina leta kwa mapoints ya ndiabili hadi important.
Mwangu fianye. Na mwana mafoni kona ya funa.
Na alafu pa utafinga wachimba kambwili. Isakubalira poba Mwamba ndefo ukweba kwa abantu bonse abareisara ama programs ya division panino program bali podcast yesu na change direction fobe ma podcast na change tempo apefia division takuli tureingira kwa reshima hapa turefo abantu bonse tuikatane bonse bakutira tuipa yinkala muire tuchimfya ngaraba kwata ama sentiments ya division ifuta turefwaya abantu bali kwati bankanduruwo abayishibe fya kwati twambe kulandira kwa abantu abalechula turefwa abantu nga bayisa ba podcast abamu kola punda tio imuchapo mwaluba imuchapo ifutumba tuambo kuyoko apo futubea mkwa election hapa uyo ntunguru shikara na mashu ya division tukamutandarira nga misepera turefwaya confusion ya division turefwa abantu bonse bekatane uyo leta division akisa tumurani shina tuske panganda pamyakwe potukesa alira nankwe sapa
awo mwilatinya abantu vane mwilatinya abantu kutuwa Mr. accused that you want to do violence on them. Don't threaten people.
Chile tukalipa sana ba Mwamba iyi 4 years twachura muneni baraba amayo bachiranda kufya bayedi karungu babweshe eri ashe mari ashitufa katureranda pa batata barungu muba bweshe baraba amayo bese besure chest yabo ifume.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Indeed, we want unity, but it's up to the leadership to foster that unity. Our duties, we have tried very hard, but our leaders are stuck in their ways. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Yes, thanks so much. Good evening, Mwamba.
Good evening.
I'm James calling you from Zambia.
Yes, James, make your contribution.
Oh, thank you. Me, I can advise that my PF go to convention, then come up with at least top 3 candidates. Number 1, Akashare PF. Number 2, Akemine, who as independent. Then number 3, Akemine per special purpose vehicle.
Our caller is gone. Is
with 2 other likely candidates like KBF or John Sangwa. So it means we have 5 candidates. Then ama MPs, ama councillors once you have 5. Then we can campaign as one group once 5 with one manifesto. One manifesto, then by June, I will have 5. Whoever will be popular. So by June number, since they will still be campaigning as a group, they will converge to campaign for one candidate out of these 5 with one manifesto, number MPs distributed amongst once our 5 political parties. I'm sure like that, Chiwapange Chakosa, they can easily defeat. Nangwata franchise wa PF ngefi walevati. Nangara pera party. These 2 others will still remain independent na special purpose vehicle.
Thank you very much. Mass strategies are utavalanda pabantu. But thank you for your call. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contributions.
My name's Chandarafa, calling from Easton.
Yes, Chandarafa, make your contributions.
Mamambeta nkanshi ndefu kunitesha sana punch to tunarimona ati ine platform much sacrifice ichita yenu fafe kwebati vekatane manje mukufata opposition vekatane ndamona ati murapokera sana amakofi n'amapiko apisana abantu abengi baitemo kumubika amashu mukanwa nafata mukitire kiri cyose cyaro bana fe pari candidate umuntu ari supporta nikine bamwambaye barenga so kusanga ati bare mi post mutuma platform tumbi ko afi kumubifyeshina because candidate bari support ari mbina adu bako pamo mu mitire afi ntuma mu mitontonkanisha badevyo ndefu afi kumira bakwe bati nida fiori wonse ngefu Bible irando kwe bati whoever wants to be the greatest among you must be the servant of all. So nida fira kwa tumtima ukurungo mtima omwakwata because if we from ta industry muchita if one for nda kwanisha na nawo ine pano penetrating kwanisha ukukara pa platform yenu wa mwambara 15 minutes tunakusana na abantu abengi sa badifo ndero mbago fika bati mutwari ndero mpasho mo wino wine bakatuka chinjo buteko ala inzinga dakweta abantu abali kwatiri moyo bokutwafirwa atatera sana wa mwamba.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contributions.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Didi.
Yes, my sister, make your contributions.
Okay. Mwamba. First of all, inena lalo la straight kuli Chavinga. Chavinga, mutima kwa tawabu satani. Ulo mutima papa wa kitulandefi, there is no way kapaba wakubika mwenye committee. Ulo wasa tolo kukuya isanga palimu president, waikuba mna powder. Wala kisa abantu, abo pachi tawachu ndeko baya kufunya kumuyombe, wasa mkuchusha abantu mkopa peoti. Tawali no kuba minister, bakubika pota kukula kumushumu wafunya uwali no kuba.
Is our caller still there?
Ulanda pati mukusoka balubinga mukusoka abanangwe umuntu ulefwa ikwa ukuba pali leadership ala mukuikala n'abanankwe mwanyi na bose mwaikala mwa state ntu icho Chavinga yakalira yakakulala bakapokola bale mukingirira chishi pa kuya secretary kitanya ntapolukasa alanda fyo mumbali kuchirironga naikala alecho bache baleti n'abantu li president wako Ulo mwinga pangana kwa alliance shwa na ngumla panga alliance na Chavinga wanusi na ngona munanko barabene bakanine kuja babe batitamuli eligible imwe elo mausi sampa kukulomba mwina ati na birufyanya omuntu osala nga ule mwana alufyanya mu Bible alibwelera samwe ati fileta fiweme bisimwene kubale tumabena kama America tulenda tuleko kwa musibumba tulekitakanshi bakweta mafulani ali lero twa ukutemwa kula fimba pafili ukutemwa kwako bati bali mutemwa abantu bose nosampa isalumbo bwero kubaise otabalafa bamumpwa kabiri mwine ko washibati ndebona chitire mukulambulu nyange na makakabiri ambo okulusha kabiri nomba page pali balanda tinji kabiri Chavinga umowine aikala kumaluba kunuma alela ndafeka ushoka shonja mulumendo apangwa shali pantu mwaiche pali apangwa shali nja mulumendo chishi chimubonsya Bible ilanda Ecclesiastes ilanda everything has got time. Everything has got time. Ishita yako na ifikelo ishita yakabe amate abantu ofwa balilanda te yasuma na kuli ne program ale ufwa te yasuma ukuikala panshi ukufu abalowe balelanda mwalunga nabalowe te abantu balechula tabalinga na chabinga aladya alefola nempia besho bale mpela la gratuity alepoka alechusha abalanda balebe bachilanda fertilizer pambale shanyuko finshi ubunga shinge so babalaile abantu fyo batontonka fyo batulaile shalishi nomba nishi bakano kufifikirisha uyu muntu muchalo tuikere susu uwachalande koni mukonkeni kamuchitenishi mumushi ushakashiyana chabinga aletemo awe bamausi sampa epo mwapoka chipani chabwera mulimwe balubinda bamundu bile umuntu wonse alalufyanya fyachitile bamundu bile nga bali lufyanya kubwela bonse apa kuli kuchita chintu chinga chimo 50% teyakwangalako 50+1 teyakwangalako teyakweba tinamumona nangu nibaeche chibale itina 50% balete mwefile kama opposition na 50% tepakwangala pakufwaira nibalanjoina nibalankonka ikataneni chiteni chintu chimwe abantu mwirufya abantu bakalipa abantu nabakalipa uko benga sanga flood wonse lidole chitefintu cha blokonda kutwamulo paula na membia abantu fobekele tekwacha abantu nabekala nabasekela mutabasekelemo kule baba leikala tadile iwenga walya chabinga wali kutawila munati wonse lishinabi kuta bamundu bilokoko muli makebizuru balubinda ikale ni panshi mutitezi tuchabinga ngata ayele kokwali hali yakatushina fyatwala kuilando ngalishi abafileka naba muchingirira ki iyo twalipanga pakiti pakiti kuti wamfane twalipanga alliance ya kusaira kwene kuna perera panona namuna kwa alliance ya muntu umo ai mimi na popodia mwala ngata kwete apa secretary tudanya ntako na mofeti ya balungu president ujanya ntako mofeti mwaitena na balungu balubinda baji nyantamu Mbappe uyu ine tuitati Mbappe aji nyantamu chabinga wanyantamu nikuisa iwena abantu ababa lumendo katushifo ngalandera bamwamba kutuwalufyanya bapie kukataneni mutite chintu chimo mugombere pamo mulubuli abantu ba Muzambia mukalete finturoti constitution kula yangalako mu parliament mubwele omuchishi kija mwali ba matibini mwali omuchishi parliament yali omuchishi notwangira mu parliament kwa muntu chabinga la tekana kanoka pereri okukwati nafwa besaleseka ekisoma sana kigareti aleo mufate kufuma abantu baledira balendo omuntu umo wabukatie nala chitefirubinda jaza ati we muntu lebuluma fyoko lebulumira muno yaba polisi we kafe kutuba kuleka kwena kutuba kuleka wambo kwenda mu Lusaka panshi ukwesa mkopa belt panshi waikilana mu motoka alafu motula ichesi yako turaona politics yaba bwino politics yali bwino pa university abantu bale isambirira notice bambo ko naora politics kutuba kana no mwana okwa mukutesa ma politics atileka uyiba mudifyo bali naora politics yaba na ukwisa yona ola muno after 2021 uko naora politics ukufufunka nyafyo ko lafu chitafimbi sefo chifuyo ko mwira mana tafya sina batemu tabatemeno bala ya bala mule muna bale sekana imwachi soti sana soti sana una ya kalala ndati soti sana kujaba shidetia kujaba shikwato wanungwe kujaba shide poka ko CDF kujaba shide poka ko social cash transfer kujaba shide poka ko cash for work tula umfwa wacha vinga ule kesho register kunote kumuyombe mu town.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We've got another caller. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contributions.
Hello, mkwai nabwela ine kwa kaputa kuti vansumisha mkwai.
Mkwai mayo.
Bwangu sana tutira sana. Ulakulanda pamfwa yaba Dr. Iseo. Uyo muntu wachilalanda. Bushe alelanda okutira balungu tabafwa. Nga ili alelanda ati balungu tabafwa. Alikulu balilwisa. Pantu ba president hakainde. Balilanda abenu okutira. Ibali ishibe. Kale luchero kuti ba Iseo n'abafwa mwalitamba bonse fya bengi ndishu ba president akainde balilanda so if ma president balilanda file ngo yuwalala ndokwe bati tabafwa afuma kwisa lubalinshi alelandila warning to all of you mu opposition the distraction yonse twambi okulala kala kapamba shibu yakwe mwishite yakuti tuchite focus pakuchita organize political opposition side twishime bakateka ni banani abalabwera mkuwikishanya ni banani and stay bayamba okulisha engoma yimbi yakimfulunganya eko twambye okulolesha. They are very good at that. Lekeni bale twetali pamfo y'abalungu ifofine ikishinka kyalishibikwa akakashita kanshara kokutila balungu tachilelandu apona lelo kuti barashikwa nangu mubiri walaisa kuno natulekefie nabalekefie abantu icho lesa akachita after my elections ekikeshibika okushika kw'abalungu ndela ndefendi muntu fepalwanju okulolesha efo twatintana bafintishinti mukyalo muno ba president abeni balilandire ati nalishibe ati nafa ECL. So you are iselelo alelanda ati tabafwa inani.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contributions. Endita. Mkwaiba mulenga landeni po.
Pamwamba iri ashi iri akubalira po iri ripori yonse ryo turepitana muno muturenda yakupanga okuba united batureranda mu kipani chesu vuka wa PF nangu chabakala bana mushana chabe na Zambia bonse ngebe mwashiro ko batiro barungu bayishireisa babomfishe ishu iri atonse ama political party endele pamo ile shiriwa sakamana sana hivi ni wa kwa wana pamozi kulingana national ya pamozi na tonse file muneka kwa tifimo finefi pali vikusene yo so cho tureka vila chako eti naromba linocho turepe pa chako tila wonse takuli utambo kusontane minu nangu kusontane minu kweva tiao ino ichili pamo kwendela pamo balama grupu yonso turekwata mwali tupera opinion po pali awale sharira kunu matekweva tini chibena tabale bomba la ubale bomba pali fionze vevo chava kola bokusala pove chintu chimopati sonti mini mumwe bashara ko opinion pone chitapale fe muti even though kusala mu butunguru shinga kwa isa bentunguru chishibiri kuti mwaba bali teni ngefe baba president fe umofi na vice president umana fimbi fulo fya shara bonse nga mwabombe chisoma mukabombera pamo iyo kwali ukwata government ya PF ba president wa
Boniface yaputuka.
Sote polisi hivyo tuletira kutira bakalaba bashani uko bonse bamundubire bamakebizulu bashani ikale ni panshi abantu nabamitsa advise ishitane ishita ero nabatareme nababeshi bati wina talama wale umfu wina talama wina le umfu abena Zambia bakuru so ngana umono gwe bati wena utarama kuba nobe bale kuita wangu bwera kuba nobe mwikale pamo ndambyo kwendera pamo no pushe iriya shi then nalyo nsendala ndapo ama suspension ba president obutulina bena lift the all suspensions bakuwezesha abantu ma position if you are sikira pona kai ndala ndapo bamaiko chiru vya sata bali kere na abantu batamfishinda pera for example like ba provincial minister a provincial chairman kukasama bachisenga bali ishirebe banishituri kukabukutira kwena tisenga nangu wabwela ishachira for anomba we are just toward for elections wela tuombere pamo emiti maturefuaya banani ba Edgar Lungu basuka bafuira mufi tabatalira baitapo ma suspension yako bachani bale bafyenga abantu kubachitivya mzango shani bati bali komkelezi okutira leadership ife ifuire yaba ufire mwaba batalama mufire mwaba mzango evi bati baba bwesha bengi twinga lumbula nabalero linabalefu ano kwa bafifulo ifya ko president abalelu fyanya na ba Michael Chirufyo Sata balufyanya ba Edgar Lungu takwali kubacha suspend.
Thank you.
Makanga tula towards ama election.
Thank you Aboni. Thank you. Thank you Aboni.
Azonde fokulanda iriyashi twambo kula mono kwe bati aba nensu ya ma election mulelanda aba nensu abali mululi bali enda because dana bote bali fokulusa but if ko opposition ngatwala ikalilira ukutintana uyu sonto uyu sonto tapalo ko tuleya we thank you banani ba mausampa ichipanya bene balandiro kwe bati chaya babwesha balwisha nangu tulemona nakairi abena chisaku yunani uyu chabinga akali ale ipompa ngamwali mwana bula ushiku na umbrella na bamwe mishako which means uli umbrella yaba kalamba ababekete muso chireka bilo chakwe bati ombere ni pamo muri establish yonso ukuthi le problem by end of this month tatulefo atulelanda pama candidate ati ngoyo chilefo kwa mutse direct yawo lefo kuba ma aspiring candidate ukuba la twala ama application yaba la sunga ni banani yaba la kwata ni banani ebe tulefo kutampukula umfu wako na kuchilisha ibo ngwa candidate weba le luishefia hivi areas tulefo kumfu wako tote.
Thank you, Abon. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions.
Hello, this is Pumula Stumbeko from California.
My dear sister, my co-host, make your contributions.
Thank you. Greetings, Bena Zambia. Firstly, I want to thank you, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, because you might think that you are it's a misfortune or Lufiengo Malifuma Zambia, but God appointed you to be here at this time. Because imagine Ngatamuliku Zambia, all this what you are doing wouldn't be happening.
Correct. Thank you very much, Queen Puma. Thank you.
Yes, so that is the silver lining of your experience and your misfortune. It has turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Yes, so therefore, a couple of issues. Number one, Pali Mao Sampa. Mao Sampa, he has redeemed himself, and I'm sitting here listening. I'm emotional, and I just a caller mentioned that Mao Sampa Bali kumena ba ECO ba belela, and that is like the big thing. Ichunti chukankara chako bati ba Miles bali kumene na ba ECO ba lombo wedelo. So if ba ECO himself sat with Miles Sampa, who are we for us to the konkanya fyokulanda dio Miles Sampa ifnefi? I think we need to bury that hatchet and move on. Because of all people who wronged ECL, at least Miles Sampa was man enough to go and meet Miles Sampa, to go and meet ECL and apologize. The second point, therefore, Kulanda Pachirido Chavalungu, this dilemma. I listened to Sister Comrade Tandy, what she was saying, and I just feel like this is contempt of court. How can a TV station host somebody to spin a story? This case is an active case in court. So take contempt. Zambia police, if you are really Zambia police and 100% neutral, fair, you should arrest that man for contempt of court. That's number one. This is my take. That is contempt. Because we know abantu bale bakaka fyo ku poster each picture AI picture chaba HH mumbokoju muntu ba mkaka. Mamona, this is the hypocrisy of this government. Let the Zambia police act and start arresting these people for contempt. No one should even be commenting on info ECO because this is an active case. We need to call out these people and they need to do the right thing because they are paid by public fund. They are paid to do their job. Bahaka Inde, coming to Bahaka Inde. The government is involved. Of course, if the government is not involved, then why isn't HH using his executive powers to put this to an end? He's using executive powers to bulldoze his way through so many things, even dribbling the Bill 7. He said it himself. He has powers. So those powers, why can't he use it to end the misery that the whole country is facing? Especially the widow and the family. On Women's Day, kumwana mayo running, ba PF na mayo running, mashoko. That is a mourning song. People are still mourning ECL. And the longer they hold this back, the bigger the funeral is. Everybody will hold this against this government. And the HH has executive powers, which he has refused to use so that this barrier can happen and we move on. The next point I want to comment is this UPND And the PF predicament is like, it's funny, they say, if you have bomba. Mwebantu bakwalesa ba UPND, baisanga, UPND caused all these problems for PF, but today we are here talking to say, the Bahaka Inde himself, he is an illegal president. He has to go to a convention. Mwamona maka ya kwalesa. So we shall see by UPND if they are going to break the law to appoint their presidential candidate. Because they have done so much to damage PF and just so many things. We all know about it, but there is a God who is an equalizer. We are watching the space. In the same vein today, we can have EDD, by FDD. By FDD, their convention, we have heard here again, their convention, did they follow protocols? Because the FDD, you mukaisanga muri mwamoneni, to show when we go to the nominations, ECZD, we are looking at a possible disqualification of this FDD candidacy of Vamundubi. And we have to tell you, another point, judiciary must be neutral. Judges, some of the people who are arrested now, they were fulfilling civil service. They were making decisions as civil servants, and they are in jail. They have been arrested by this UPND regime. The same thing will happen. You people in the judiciary, you are going to dance to the same music. Bahaka Inde says it. If you commit a crime, you are on your own. So it's a time bomb. Do the right thing so that tomorrow you won't find yourself behind bars for making a decision which is illegal. We have to keep reminding you, because you think your immunity is eternal. No, power is temporary.
Thank you,
Lastly, I just want to say the last thing on the Malawi ambassador, just to on this unity thing, because Abantu Balela that unite, but we are like down to the wire. There is no unity. I just want to urge Zambia to just support one candidate. In Malawi, they had 17 candidates, but the people knew whom they wanted. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and give us your contribution.
Ahmed.
To our bomb. Make your contribution, caller.
I'm from the Copper Belt.
From the Copper Belt. Yeah, make your contribution.
Chakubalira ponde kutotera Bamausamba bali Rufyenye. They after Barufyanya bali apologize and fight and you were patriotic front. The election never concomitation of patriotic front bonse. He said to support the leadership of patriotic front. We are going to have a Mirokula structures because the new patriotic front to fill to a lawyer, we were given Luvinda, the convention, but they're a party president. No, to Anna and Gloria. Choromba was a patriotic front was given Luvinda, and they were Rombakov. But Blanimundu. Kuticha Mishana Venava, where I'm going to Bombera Fichapamo, Timu Filafin in India, their PF. Erotukachi, one, Blanimundu in Gabaze.
Oh, have we lost the caller? I think we got your view. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Bamwamba. Nebotand.
Oh, you are back, my sister. You left out something?
Yes. I've just come to realize that this person was Dennis Mutumba, na cheba chinwa UPND.
Yes.
No, Baba Dennis Mutumba, but if I know Queen na Kushibuyunji Town Council. Okay? Therefore, Queen Nakachunga, therefore, Queen as a councillor, na posta na bavika. And I heard my comrade, the president, comrade Kunimpumi saying, Wakapokola babekate. I think we need to tell Ababantu fishing, go for Fifilefiaba, Bakapokola Babu Zambia no shta. They are not impartial. Okay? they are more like the UPND police. Because they work nama directives yaba executive. Uyu muntu tete bamuikate. Nende kulomba namayo Muzambia. Ichicha chitika kuli bamayo banalungu chintu chakula sana. We can't start calling for the police to arrest this man. We have to start calling out President Hakainde Hichilema to do the right thing. Let the widow find closure. This man will not be arrested because he is driving the agenda of President Hakainde Hichilema. This man has not just started to do this on his own. Because if he did this in his own capacity, as long as he's driving the agenda of President Hakainde Hichilema, he will not be followed, just like Chavinga. Chavinga has been doing all those illegalities because they have the approval of President Hakainde Hichilema. He will not be arrested. This is just the truth. If you fishing, as long as this man is driving the agenda of President Hakainde Hichilema, the police can't even knock on his door. Banamayo Mzambia inende milomba. Tieni tuebe baeche chukweba tilekeni banakulila basange closure. Can baeche let go? Can he let go? I hope this is the last person to start talking about Info Yabalungu. Info Yabalungu tapadi fia fisamika. He can't come and tell us in his rightful mind that Balungu tabafwa. He can't tell us that. Badi tufubisha death certificate you. Naba South Africa badi saina. So nishwale tuwe bati Ramaphosa pakutuchitawishi azichalo condolences and wishing the family nishwena Ramaphosa badi pena. All the presidents that wish the grieving family and even the country Zambia. How can you start driving this narrative that this CEO is still alive? How? Just how? Bamayo banamtinta. Ndemiromba kwebeni kwa balume benu banake ko mutima. Muni bafiashi bebeni kwa balume benu banake ko mutima. Your sister needs to find closure. Your sister needs to find closure. Ichichironda chaka nipa. Ichichiriro chaka nipa. Can HH do the right thing, please? Bachula banalungu pafula. Can HH do the right thing? Let the grieving widow find closure. Fishi mule fire kumubidi wabalungu. Fishi. If you don't understand, what do you want? You can't come and claim to say you want to give him a dignified funeral. If you want to give him a dignified funeral, delegate somebody. Respect his final wishes. That's the only dignity you give your predecessor. Paechech, banamayo Mzambia ndemi lomba. Rise up, tapaluka mikata. Ngamwaba lomba baechechu kwe batilekeni banalungu. Bakwate closure. Later, please find closure. Lekenya bana. Bakwate closure. 9 months is too long a time to be grieving. Too long a time. Takwaba. Shimipamba takwaba. Thank you, Amwamba.
Thank you, my dear sister. Thandiwe Keti Singoma, an analyst and researcher. She's based in Slovenia. You probably have come across her articles, and she's making a special plea. Hello, Wakola, please, we begin to close. I'll take the last 5 calls and then we close.
Ambassador, ni wamunkongewa wera kuchiriro nomba. Ambassador, mufwaye ko video ya bakabeshe ya last week. Ile shishibe. Wabantu bamugavu tuko tontonkanya. Bakabesha baliranda last week kwebati mwe bantu. Lekenyo kulanda pamfwa yaba ECAO. Lekenyi baloshe. Abantu balelosha ebakabesha nga chali nywewo bawo isona abafwa olomba bambo kweba bawo isota bafuire tuwa umfashani bali komaire bakabesha last week kukanya abantu kweba baleke okulanda pali ba isio baleke family y'abayisiyewo iroshe mutende nomba bakabesha bapere statement yakwe bati muntu iwaba fyashobe bali oro muntu ambo brandati tabafwa kutoa mfashani nomba outcome in a week last week bakabesha barandevyo twabana attention ukwe bati bakabesha nishi bawera kuchalo bawerera mumano outcome in a week kwafuma omuntu kusite yabo ambo okulanda kira bakabesha balekana so bakabesha ngachako batefu baleranda ishinga bamute bamumone uli omuntu tumoneko tubara puishanya nanko because bafumire public nokweba abantu kwe baterekenya kuranda pali bayisiyewo so bakabesha tulefu abeme bapuishanya nawo uli omuntu alio pali pamozi ndesta vekrat pai pamozi lishina like ifina tripa broadcast papali wa mwamba ni EVM oro wa mwamba basa chinjo kwe bati nomba yasanguka ni MVK but ni shifyonse turesta enjoy mopi pamozi bala ndefyo kwe bati nomba ifwe takuri ku Twitter tiba tonsi mure Twitter tiba pamozi so ababalera ndo kwikatana bali abebe bali abaona ula abachinja orupapuro oro bali abakenya okubombana PF bali kana okubombana yena kuli batonse PF yena yalishala mupamozi abasumina okubombana pamu so bali abaya kulya tabakwete nsambu ishakuraranda kitwikatane because bali patrura bena bafuire babwera no randa nishina abantu bamono kweba chao kanishi barefa yokwikatana bantu bali fuma mukwikatana nombo wafuma mukwikatana utukaeka ninshara ebiraba ikatana kitwikatane chakane cho oro we muntu nga bakwibire chipepanga ndana uri TV yo are tamba wino sana oro nomba ulio wa TV are kweba tire ko kwirishanya nawo kwatensa mbwisha kwirishanya bantu uli aliva so muntu abakwiriko tetebyo muntu uli kuliko ati ise mtu ombere pamu no you have to apply illegality you have to apply legality to legality not illegality to legal to illegal fyakana so nga walifuma muishira kubwera nga bamausampa warumbo bwerero efya babantu efya obufumu unsekwa not ubufumu taolente kwa nishtauli mfumu you are not a leader valida turefu abakurombo bwerero nishitwaishibo kweba leader umuntu ngarombo bwerero pabantu nishiro kumitungurura kutamitungurura bantu takwete nso nishaku ishakora ndo kweba tinaliruba kuchitadmit ebusuma so na bena kuroko baya ngachakweba chitabarefayo kugwera chiri kuri bena foto arakonka ifinti firefo abena Zambia ebare tutungurura so apa abena Zambia barefa tusare ntunguruchi twara sara abashirefo kubombera pamu chiri kuri bena abena Zambia bare tambe PhD chisuma bamwa.
Thank you very much. Hello caller, please tell us your name and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
This is Anonymous from the land of AI. It's been a long time.
Yes, indeed.
Sir, I want to make a contribution. I think maybe I'll call it advice.
Please proceed.
Yes, my advice goes to the members of Central Committee for the Patriotic Front, the one that is led by Honorable Given Luvinda.
Thank you.
You see, I really believe that the members of Central Committee may wish to realize the weight of the responsibility that is in their hands at this time. I am aware that their convention can happen anytime, this week, next week, anytime. So as they go to that convention, I would like to give them this. I think it's a solemn advice. These sufferings of the people of Zambia that we are talking about, the pain that the widow of our former late president is going through, the sufferings of our colleagues who are in prison all over the country, these things totally rely on being resolved through picking the right candidate for the election in August 2026. I know how elections are done in the Patriotic Front. And it is an in-house issue, but if there's any member of Central Committee listening, they know what I'm talking about. Let us do what is right. You see, Ambassador, what you did with the pause gave us a picture of the direction. You are not wasting time. You are not trying to get clicks. It was to give direction, to give us an idea of where we can go. And those polls provided that direction. They did. We were able to say, okay, so this person seems to be popular in the nation. So at the party level, we should take that advice and be able to say, okay, if the nation is pointing us in this direction, let's do HH. Even though you won the poll on Facebook, we can't choose him. He's the one we want to remove. Let's do say about Kalaba. So we need to find who amongst ourselves has performed well in this poll so that we are taking advantage of popularity of this person as the party so that to don't have a name our prisons. I mean, so that we bring closure. Closure in our funeral. He will not. Please, people, try to understand the kind of person we are dealing with in HH. That matter is it's for us to resolve. And it starts this week with the members of Central Committee. When they make the correct decision, not at Pantu Aweba and Saturday, this one he picked me, put me in Central Committee, so I'm voting. Or you won't this one. No. Take this responsibility very, very seriously. Think carefully about the wider implication of your single decision. But I also can trust the Patriotic Front because these are the people that look after each other. So whoever you will choose, I'm sure they'll look after the rest of the interests of the party. So let's not have jealousy. Oh, you pantuem musungu nangu, you mwaiche nangu, you this. No. Let's look at the numbers, the data. But if we need to popular, if they want, we can help them, Ambassador, to ISAP EMV, to running a poll just specifically for those who are standing MPF. So that they look at that data, at those numbers, and make the correct decision. Because if we mess around, if the members of Central Committee mess around, that funeral will not find closure. Malanji and the colleagues will rot in prison. That's the reality. Not Monakara news number of my blood shedding, Isa West. 3 hours of load shedding in 24 hours. No matter what to waste in the situation. That quarter 3 hours, no matter what the power, 2 days, and almost a quarter for 3 hours. Is that not where we are going? If we are going to change and stop that kind of thing, if we must stop that, let's not be petty. Let's not choose leaders based on very petty premises. Let's look at data. Who's popular? Bamwamba, if you can do it, Nanfemailo. It's a Monday tomorrow. Run a poll for those who are standing for presidency. MPF from Bamudola. Chimbaka Mbwini. Unless you have withdrawn. And everybody's Makepi Zulu. Given the window. Let's check. Let's do a temperature check to come on which direction should we go? Because the things I've been hearing on the ground are pointing to us bringing this advice to members of Central Committee. Don't be petty in your choosing. Know that the weight of the future of this nation is lying on your shoulders. And if you choose well, God will reward you, because I'm a people abantu bale people mumaya, I'm a people bale people macheishumu. It boils down to you, members of Central Committee. I submit.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Passionate appeal there. I'm taking the last 2-3 calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and give us your contributions.
Thank you, Bamwamba. This is Tinyango Danny. I just want to echo and concur with the previous caller, AI. Bamwamba, your program is big. Your program, people that underestimate you, then they don't know what you're doing. So I just want to make a suggestion. Can you, maybe even this week where we are starting, the candidates for PF, can you name them and let the people come and cast their opinion on your program? And then from there, people will know who has got the popularity in PF, who can lead PF. What the previous caller AI has said, I second that, and Bamwamba, you've got the mandate to do it. Then lastly, Tandiwe's call, I'll just say, balon for our president on this program. Our president, lekele anybody aba ECL. When anybody president, Charles Zambia, it's not at peace. Why? Because of your doing and your actions. It's never too late to make peace. The cry of the widow, just like Tandiwe's voice is full of pain and cry, many women and many Zambians, that's the voice they have. But President, ekeleni kwe chitumbi chaba ECL, tushike ba President Besu. Whether you didn't like him or you were not in good terms with him, he's a human being and he was the president of Zambia. Can you let go of that body, that we bury our president in peace? Thank you, Bamwamba. God bless you.
Thank you very much. I'm taking the last 2 calls, colleagues. Thank you very much. Today was People's Platform. It was your platform. I earlier gave my views, alerting you to the elections that are due. And to those that are doubting about the late president, here is Madam Godfrida Sumaili.
I traveled to South Africa a day after the president died. And I can say with all my heart, truthfully, that I've had the opportunity
to see the body?
To see the body, yes. So it is total lie. It is inhuman to even think that maybe somebody is telling lies. No. Our former president is gone. And he has been lying in the morgue for 9 months. It is so unfortunate. I don't know who we have become, even as a people. How we, the people of Zambia, have been able to accept such a situation. And we have to understand that there are implications. Keeping a person unburied, what does it mean? And especially one who had the key to the nation, who ruled the nation for 7 years, who did so much in the nation. You know, the inhuman treatment of the widow and the children.
Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Ambassador Mwamba. This is from Livingston.
Mr. Mwewa, good day, my dear brother. Make your contributions quickly.
Yeah, thank you so much. Ninjikonka sana programu and I think every caller on this program is hoping for a better Zambia. Now the number 7,000 votes were Mumbai much under at my robots. I don't know my robots.
Yeah, why Ichirema?
7,000 votes. From my calculation, 7,000 ile ishara 35.48%. And then maybe we can add the guys were open to muntu mwako tama account and 50. So definitely, if you look at the polls, yeah, most of the never in the party. There were a lot of unhonestness in that vote, in those votes. And then the other thing is that I've also got concerned with some of the deliberations you've made on the program in regards to giving notice to the before holding a convention. You have to pay a notice of 30 days to the registrar of societies. Of course, there's a bit of consolation that maybe Nabayu Pendi Tavalaya, but if it is something that is favoring them, that's what they follow. If it should be favoring Tabakong. So, but for me, it is a moment to scrutinize the political parties that are now in the Pamoza Alliance. Those political parties in the Pamoza Alliance, have they complied with the regulations that are needed before they can participate in the general elections? So if there are those political parties, the Pamoza Alliance, Sabashira Chitefio, they were age to do that, to quickly go and hold their convention so that we can have even special purpose vehicles should be able to qualify for incoming elections. And then in mocking of Pamoza Alliance, for me, I think it is a concept that is drawn from the founding father of this nation, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, with his popular anthem, Yende Pamoza Ndi Mutima Umo. And then the convention that fully fit to High Court because of presidential elections, MPL. The convention must be held so fast because if you look at the electoral calendar, by 15th of April, Nishi election yamba. Now, imagine we are still in these issues of convention. Meanwhile, that we start adopt them councillors, that we start adopt them mayors, MPs, and so on and so forth. So, among activities, they are driving among adoptions. Now, I mean, because of the same convention. So, it's a lot of things that are being delayed. So, I hope with that pronouncement that was made today by the party president, Mr. Given, that will say, in the next 4 days, we are going to hold the convention. Let us hold it into those 4 days because we still have a lot of work to do. And then, the other thing that I want to talk about is the death of Dr. Edgar Chagwarungu versus the UPND. Now, umuntu watandika okugira ati balungu tabafa eko bakiri ku South Africa. It is something that is saddening me, especially when it comes to professionalism and money. This time around, people are more preoccupied to making money than to fight for their country. Look at the dedication that you are putting in, just for the sake of your country. Okay, you are using your profession to add a difference, or to say, to highlight people to say there is also the kind of life which is good when you elect genuine leadership. You are using your journalism profession to work for your country. Now we still have a lot of media houses in the country. They can accommodate anything. Like the council that you gave to KBN TV. What is the KBN contribution to the struggle to free this country. If they are just anchored on making money, what about their country? What are they doing to liberate their country from these shocks that the European government has brought us into? Ili ashiria kuntungwa nangu, ili ashiria freedom bamwamba. It doesn't take a political party. It takes each and every individual to play a part to the change that they want to see in their country. Now, for UPND, they would want to do anything possible to secure their victory in August this year, including the derailment of Barrier by Edgar Lungu. But Edgar Lungu take a with dignity and honor. We cannot compare by even a simple thing. If we can rate the UPND in 5 years, the PF under Edgar Chagwarungu, 5 years from 2016 to 2021. Now from 2021 to 2026 by UPND, they have done literally nothing by UPND. The only thing that they've brought is poverty. And yet, they continue to torment the spirit of Edgar Lungu, who have been for 7 years. Bali moved to hospital. But Edgar Lungu as a private citizen. Tabaya kukuchiliro. Open wali the mining indala. But they could kumanako mukamfukirwa. But pitete so bakateka bagwerera mucharo. And yet, there are still people who are still saying that Edgar Lungu is not dead. Why did the government declare 7 days of national mourning for somebody who didn't die? So this kind of politics, I don't know what kind of politics it is, but this is not the Zambia that we want. We want a Zambia where we want to go back to a loving country. So, in this particular moment, please, wherever you are, use the profession to liberate this country. And to, I'm a politician, especially from the opposition. It doesn't take one individual to build the country, it takes a group. So, within the opposition, especially in the PF, let us look at leaders who are democratic. Leaders who have demonstrated that they are democratic, even in their own political parties. So that as we go towards our elections, we need not to make the same mistake that we made in 2021. Here, somebody whom we didn't even understand so well. So it's something that is beyond money. You know, my politicians having a section, my branches, but if we look at we liberation to remove. Let us use the little that we have to fight for this country.
Thank you, Babua. Thank you. Let me take two. I think these will be the last two callers. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
This is Alfred calling from Lusaka.
Alfred, make your contribution.
But my voice is a bit hoarse. I've got a cough.
Yes.
I can talk about anything.
Thank you.
Okay. I just want to talk about how Honorable Brian Munduvile became popular because it's now a debate amongst us, the citizens, to say, no, he's the one on the ground, blah, 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 blah. If you remember, the first people to show interest to say they want to take the leadership of the PM, Honorable Brian Munduvile was among the nine, yes. And, you big politicians, you think like, campaign, no. There is a real campaign which happens amongst ourselves. As a family, as Buddhism, okay, that's where real politics or real campaigns now happens for individual, political leaders. So, when they showed interest
we started looking amongst all of you who had shown interest, and to say, and that's way back 2022, right? Somewhere there. And we picked Honorable Brian Mundubile because we were asking ourselves, who is going to take the mantle of now PF? Before even we thought of VCO who left us. And we started campaigning for Honorable Brian Mundubile from 2022. And waiting him now to start going around and meeting the PF structures. We had good intentions. We didn't know that there are some scrupulous people who have behind him, trying to use him to gain some political mileage, or trying to come out in politics like now Bambiliwa SG. I'm very disappointed, and let me show my disappointment in Honorable George Sanga, because Honorable George Sanga is supposed to be PF legal chairperson, if I'm not mistaken. And if our legal chairperson is now calling himself the chief advisor of our Brian Mundubile, can advise on a Brian Mundubile in such a manner, I'm very disappointed. So again, this popularity, not on his own, because some of us were campaigning for him since 2022. Honorable Given Ruvinda and Honorable Makebi Zulu just came to show interest in 2025. So they are new in the game, technically. So this is the popularity which Brian Mundubile has. And of course, he has got some capacity in terms of resources. And he has been going around since. And he has been cementing this support he has. So if he doesn't want to come back, we are going to decampaign him. I know he has got resources, and let me concur with my brother just from calling to say, in the Rama Vandesho Barekwa Pokati Wabombe. And the Honorable Brian Mundubile is doing that. Right now, if you invite 25 people to follow him, to join his BMH, whatever, he'll give you a shopping voucher. So let me urge my fellow PF members to stay. Don't lose hope. It's clear that Honorable Mundubile doesn't want to come back because that sharp court Griezmann Zimba is misleading him. And others who have got a bad standing in the party. Some of us are still giving us a bad memory like our SJ. We are going to decampaign him. If it means losing to HH, let it be so. We can't have treacherous leaders rising through insubordination, then we support them. No. Some of us who have been supporting him, I'm very so disappointed, together with my colleagues. He was supposed to do the right thing. We told him, this impatience is not going to take you anywhere. Just have patience. You have gained ground amongst the structures. You are going to make it at the convention. Just have some patience. But there were some unscrupulous people who are pushing him behind the scene. And here we are now. So don't worry. We are going to campaign for whoever the party is going to choose within the 4 days as the directive which has come from the party president. So take heart, Zambians. PF is going to give you a leader. Don't continue to be cheated by those abatusanguka awe na totela ambassador.
Thank you very much. I think that marks the end of our broadcast today. Thank you all for joining us. And this was People's Forum. This is where you air your views. But I started the program on the premise that the electoral process to elect a new president and a new government has literally started in earnest. The delimitation process is coming to an end. There'll be new announcement that there'll be 226 total seats that you'll be electing as constituencies, because they're adding 70 to the current 156. So there'll be 226. There'll be other processes. I think there's another 40 or so that will come through a process of mixed member proportion, where persons with disabilities, youths and women will be included. On 15th April, presidential candidates have to take to ECZ their supporters, 100 from each province. There will be nominations the following month in May for the president, for members of parliament, for mayors, council chairperson and councillors. Is your party ready? Is your party ready? If they adopted candidates in all the 226 constituencies, And are they ready to monitor 12,150 polling stations to man that vote? The opposition must get serious. This was the purpose of our debate today. We also talked about conventions and conferences and the leaders in the opposition that are ready. We highlighted a matter where I've received communication. I invited Charles Longwe to this broadcast. Charles petitioned President Lungu, and in 2016 he also petitioned judges who he felt didn't do a judicial responsibility in 2016. Also in 2021, he was among petitioners together with John Sangwa and Sishua, who felt that President Edgar Lungu was not eligible. This time, he's a senior member of the UPND. He's raised very fundamental issues that the UPND has not held a general conference, and they risk going into elections with an illegal leader. He has asked the party to host a general conference. We don't know if this now will be legal, because they are supposed to have started at grassroots level, where they get from constituencies, district, province, and then they elect a national management committee and the president. I saw in some comments, some UPND fella says, just restrict yourself to PF. No, we cannot. That's why we are discussing everyone, whether it's Harry Kalaba, Brian Mundubile, or Given Lubinda, or Makebi Zulu, or Dr. Fred Membe. The point is, these are leaders that might become your leaders, superintend over the welfare of the country. And our laws have provided for what they need to do. As we stand today, President Hakainde Hichilema is not eligible to stand as president of our country because he has not fulfilled that process. There are some few days remaining. We hope that during this process they will hold a credible election that will make him eligible. So look out. I think on Wednesday we'll host Mr. Charles Longwe, who is a UPND member and is raising these critical issues in the party. This is a media platform. Anyone is coming. It doesn't belong to PF. Like I have emphasized all the time, it's an independent media organization. It even has a newspaper, and it has a podcast, and we pursue national issues from that vantage point. This person who has offended the country today, he's been running foolish things on his page. Ken Dennis Mutumba is seeking to be a council chairperson in Shibuyunji. A lot of people have ignored him. He runs that Edgar Lungu is alive. Edgar Lungu, he went to collect money. Edgar Lungu wanted to use. He says vile things under normal circumstances. These issues that offend the family and offend the country should have been arrested. But they arrest people who do nothing. Today, in my view, Crown TV made a terrible professional mistake by hosting someone with such dangerous conspiracy theories and thrust him before a national audience. That was careless. As a media organization, you have to scrutinize what you can bring to the country. Like Tandiwe Keti Singoma was asking, why did President Hakainde Hichilema said he had learnt of the late president as soon as he died? Why did he declare period of national mourning up to 7 days? Why did President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa state that he regretted the death of the late president, especially that he had been helping him during the 6-month stay in South Africa, that his office had extended help to President Lungu? Why would he say that? Why would he send a minister to the funeral home of the late president? Why would doctors in South Africa, qualified, they are not like your takataka doctors, from a premium hospital, declare that the president had died and proceed to sign on those documents? Why did President Hakainde Hichilema declare 7 days of national mourning? Why are we here? So to have a media organization, present this madman with his conspiracy theories that are not rooted in facts or in truth, and give him the glare of the national opinion, national audience, I think was very careless. I hope that the police can arrest this. If there are times when you need to arrest, it's when people do offensive things like this, because they have capacity to destroy a nation. They have capacity to incite supporters to rise against even a government. So the police must be very careful and must pursue things like this Ken Mutumba, who's UPND. Otherwise, we'll have no choice but to assume that President Hakainde Hichilema has sent him because he's his member and is pursuing a seat in Shibuyunji under the UPND. If they do nothing, we'll assume President Hakainde Hichilema is behind it. What will be your assumption? God bless you, Mwebantu Wakwalesa, and we'll see you, I think, on Tuesday. Tomorrow, I've got a commitment to not broadcast. And on Wednesday, when we have Charles Longwe from the UPND to discuss his push for a conference in the UPND.
I traveled to South Africa a day after the president died. And I can say with all my heart, truthfully, that I've had the opportunity
to see the body?
To see the body, yes. So it is total lie. It is inhuman to even think that maybe somebody is telling lies. No. Our former president is gone, and he has been lying in the morgue for 9 months. It is so unfortunate. I don't know who we have become, even as a people. How we, the people of Zambia, have been able to accept such a situation. And we have to understand that there are implications. Keeping a person unburied, what does it mean? And especially one who had the key to the nation, who ruled the nation for 7 years, who did so much in the nation. You know, the inhuman treatment of the widow and the children. Do you think that things can be well with us? It can't.
Amitapendwa ya vintu ifisume vyote bula kwibukisha kana depotimo wimbo wa temenu wa katongi abazunga batita katongi nagula kwibukisha kateka kaibukubuna kapona neseko syove pamenso yangwa maume maya iyaba maume iyaba maume kateka wabantu twakulira lelo twakulira shikakukonke milimo shove ale filamba yenaminta pengosile eti kumemo kulo dolole avale lilo mwingi
iseko wingi mwakwete isaso wingi mwakwete mwaya mwende wino dada wesu
kachusi muchibokege wali bomba kale nomba mwatuja tulelilake
Benda
ukuchinja lusako kumoneko busaka mama uzituwana basiyani chakwa katuse